broken home. I gave you all the bricks that I own and know. I'm letting go, I'm breaking these walls down, breaking these walls down. If you want adventure, then fly to home. But if you wanna travel, then go alone. Yeah, what's the point in us if I never know? Yeah, if you're gonna leave, I'ma let you go. I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm done with yesterday. Harder, harder. I fell where my demons dwell. My own little nightmare, I call it hell. Oh well, it's time to get back up. Climbing and climbing, I'm done with this ride, is what I tell myself, so I could feel something else. Yeah, I guess I had my bad days, but it doesn't mean I lost my style. Darling, where were you when my heart was on the ground? I thought time would prove that you would stick around. I guess time stood still, a king without his crown. Now I'm breaking and you're faking, girl. You never made a sound.
Dope. All right, here we go. We're live, boys. Welcome, everybody. This is Mortal Portal podcast number 14. I got the boys here. I'm gonna do it differently this week. I'm just gonna introduce everybody because it's always fucking awkward when I have everybody introduce themselves and there's always like some fucking gaping pause for whatever reason. So I'm just gonna go run through everybody real quick. So first up, we got from Rage, we got Saruka. Pretty sure he's the only guy from EU here today. Welcome, Saruka. We got CTX Sneeze. Everybody knows Sneeze. He always says, "Hi, I'm Sneeze." That's Sneeze.
Hi, I'm Sneeze.
Yep. And then we got from TC, we got Technique. He's one of the co-leaders of Talos Confederation. And then we got from Team Rocket, we got the original Horizon / God Tier. Yeah, I don't think he likes horses as much as the other one. And that's everybody. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
He likes some more. He's just a private guy.
Do you, Horizon? Are you into horses?
Not like him, man. He's
Who?
weird. He's really creepy. Have you guys seen the
Okay.
clips of him talking about like getting dicked down by Lykie eaters and stuff? Creepy.
What?
No, I just joined. All I know is I joined the channel with somebody screamed at me for like 15 minutes and muted me, and then I haven't really talked to him after that.
Okay. Apparently nobody's turning on the cam, boys, so I apologize. It's just gonna be my face, unfortunately. But when Saruka talks his PP dances, this is by far the best podcast so far. What?
Well,
Oh, it
maybe-
is only when you talk. I didn't
Oh,
realize.
really? Is that a thing? Cool.
Yeah, every time you talk, your GIF goes. I didn't
I
realize
think it's
it
his
was
Pepe, not his PP.
the
That's
same thing.
Discord Nitro, baby.
Oh, I did read it as PP, didn't I? Oh, my bad. Yeah, it's Pepe. I know who Pepe is. Okay.
My PP dances a little bit too.
Breathe on that mic. Is that good? Yeah, maybe. All right. So, what do we want to talk about first, boys? Yeah, we're talking about some topics before. You guys
Let's
want to
talk about balance.
Okay, what kind? Like the skill balance or in general?
Just in general.
I
Stay
kited
regen.
10 bears from Fab GY to pig farm, but one white bear I can't get 10 feet.
Do we even see white bears anymore, realistically?
You do if you live in Fab.
I haven't seen one in ages.
We live in jungle.
You guys are like jungle and MK and Meduli. I live at Fab. In the white bear trenches. See a white bear every day.
Does any tamer ever go outside of the guard zone with his tames?
Yeah.
Does Artisan still live in Fab, or are they kind of like in Bhakti now?
They're
Bhakti.
Meduli.
Oh,
They-
right? They moved them.
I see them at Meduli all the time. They're like in the Kodo Alliance, I think. I don't know who's in all. Everybody's all allied.
Yeah, Technique, you gotta tell us about your boy Bratwire, because I think I did talk about this on one podcast. He's like in everybody's pocket, like at this point. I know he used to label himself as like an RPK sub guild, and by RPK I meant so. What's going on with that?
Well, I haven't personally talked to Bratwire in like 9 months, except maybe like probably more than that.
Right, but his like he would literally, because I know him and Steiner at least somewhat close. I don't know how often they talk or anything, but like Steiner used to say that's his boy, like a part of the guild, something.
Yeah, we're not allied or anything right now.
I'm just confused because Bratwire himself would
Well,
literally
yeah,
say
he used to
he's a
be.
sub-guild.
He used to play with us, but he's doing his own thing right now.
Does anyone actually fight artisans?
Team Rocket does.
Miscreants.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
they're not like a PvP guild or anything, but
I do until the 20 Kodo come out.
Well, Artisans is a
Yeah,
PvE
try.
guild. Like literally, they're a PvE guild.
Right.
They don't claim to be PvPers.
But they got
or not.
tames though. It's shit scary.
Why do you think they got tames? So they can PvP, or like, at least be somewhat effective.
They're
I guess.
unironically the only guild that leaves guard zone with tames.
Which makes them the strongest PvP guild.
They're not the only guild. I've seen Kodo do it a lot. I've seen fucking
TC
a lot of
and-
Bhakti guilds have terrorbirds and shit too.
TC and Bear will come out with bears. So, same with Most. I feel like I see a lot of guilds with bears all the time. Living in the Fabrinum trenches, fighting pets all day.
Yeah, bears went back before I left Fab. It was the Fabrinum national animal, still is, I guess, technically, but yeah, they're pretty much extinct. I mean, I'm not gonna sit there for fucking 6 hours waiting for on a character, especially if I only had one account. Like, who the fuck? They're gonna be sitting there, dude. That's just. Go get like 3 brown bears, 4 brown bears.
Brown bear is still pretty strong, to be honest.
Brown bears are pretty OP. Don't they get like 600-700 health at max level? So.
Yeah,
Don't
and
say
their
that about
animations
them.
are still messed up. Like if they're walking, some of their attacks don't have animation.
Are they
If
still
they're,
fast as shit
activate-
too? The brown bears?
Yeah, both bears fucking will sticky you.
I think they're the same speed. Yeah.
You can be a lean Vila, and you can't break it. It'll stop. They won't hit you while you clade and go 500 speed, but the moment that ends, they're hitting you again.
Yeah, I've heard terror birds are really strong. Are they fast though? Like, are they as fast as a bear?
And they say
They're
they made
fast
them.
as a mount.
Yeah, apparently
That's
they
what
made them
someone
said to me.
faster.
I had a guy set the terror bird on me not too long ago, and like it kind of catched up to the mount and like attacked me instead of the mount. If you know what I mean. Super
Well,
annoying.
Wasn't
what speed
Poison
were you?
Arrow saying they can't catch him out or something? Did he make a threat about that?
It might not in 3 speed, but when you're 2 speed, then definitely.
Wait, was he complaining that they couldn't catch him out, or what do you
Yeah,
mean?
he
Yeah,
was.
he probably was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, wait, who is like is that Slut Magic? Is that
No,
SC?
it's the leader of the guild Beastmasters.
Oh, okay.
His name's like in game. I ran into him once in game, and he was like,
Oh yeah, don't they always have tames too? And they're like a PvP guild.
"Yeah, they're a Beastmat. They're a Beastmastery guild."
Wait, they fight Kodo though, right? Like in
they're,
Meduli?
they're like miscreants allies. I don't know what they do.
What do you mean? Those like your brothers?
What? Yeah, they don't got no allies. We fight miscreants.
It's
Yeah, no, I
miscreants
told
like
you-
guts or something.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's like
Wait,
the
did he
Guts
rebrand a
stepchildren.
Gutter Snipes again at Thymoracle? Or is he still in Miscreants?
they're
I thought I
miscreants.
saw recently that he was in Gutter
miscreants.
Snipes. They can't on 3rd speed, but terror birds are faster than horses. They're still slow, need buff. Kappa.
Yeah, but it's good that pets just outrun players. I think that's a really good mechanic.
Well,
I don't know. They should run out of stam though, because I mean, what do you do if there's a pet on you? Like,
There's nothing you can't do. I mean, you have to block it, but then half their animations make no sense.
but how would you
some of
how
them.
how realistically do you make pets have stam? I don't
Yeah,
understand.
I was
How do
gonna
the
say that-
pets regain stam?
a horse has stam. Why wouldn't a pet have stam?
Yeah, why can't they just be
'Cause you don't
designed
ride the
like
pet.
players?
Yeah,
Well,
but
I
it
mean,
doesn't-
but I'm asking genuine. Like, how would you make it work? How would you give the pet stamp like a
You
combat
use,
pet?
you use stamina when it attacks and when it runs.
Okay, and then what happens when it runs out of stamina? How does it regain the
stands out,
stamina?
Not running, walking really slowly.
Tell
For
it to
how long?
stay, I guess.
And you have to manage it, so you call it back before it runs out of stamina. And
So when you
it's a
call it
little
back
bit
and
of
it's
thought.
following you, does it move at full speed?
When it's following you, it shouldn't. Right? It should go with slower speed than not use stamina.
But then how's it regaining stamina?
Not moving.
So the pet has to be
at a
completely
slow rate.
still, unlike a player, to regain stamina.
Yeah, or walking at a slow rate following. I don't know. I mean, I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
they might need like follow commands and stuff, and
There-
like
there
more
should be
pet
more-
commands
Well,
for that
from
to
what you're
work.
saying, it needs like a walk command, so I can make
Yeah,
it walk to
it
regain
needs like
stamina.
it needs a whole rework to make it like you have to micromanage the pet.
Well, that actually makes sense. When it's
Which would
attacking,
be
it
good.
drains stam. When it's following,
I'm
it's
not disagreeing with you. I'm trying to get you how to balance it to make it not completely shit. And if it has
Yeah.
to stand completely still for fucking 20 seconds to get stammed, then nobody's gonna use it. So you're just gonna nerf it
Ye-
to the ground at that point.
Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't have to be completely still, right? It can just be while not chasing and attacking someone. They can have different speeds they go at or whatever, like players do.
It can just be like players, like you do the combat walk, you get a ton of stam, you
Right, but
sprint.
that's- But that's what I was saying is that would require a completely separate skill and keybind.
Yeah, it should. I mean,
Yeah.
currently you only need 2 keybinds. It should require a bit of micromanagement. to
Well, there's
control
attack,
pet.
follow, and stay. So there's 3
Yeah,
technically.
Yeah, but you don't really use stay in combat too much, I assume.
Depends. I mean,
In
it
MO1
depends on the
you didn't
situation.
at all.
If you're pushing out into a situation where you don't want your pet to go, you'll tell it to stay behind until we're safer. I've seen VII hide their bears in bushes, etc.
Yeah.
Feds.
So to go back to the pets outrunning players, I think it would be really shit if animals didn't outrun people. I just don't know how to balance that with tames.
What they could do is add like a sprint skill that has a cooldown, so you can like use it more skillfully and like have them sprint, and then they move at a much slower speed.
I
Yeah,
mean,
like actives would be really cool for pets. I think that's a great way to
I don't
balance
think
it.
they just,
You
they
have
just
like
need,
a window of power. So like they're really strong in this moment and like you can punish people for it, but it won't be just too good like every single time you like press attack on an enemy.
yeah. Currently, there is nothing you can do against a bear in a 1v1 unless the person's like fully not, you know.
We
Like if
haven't
you're
talked
out,
about mounted as
you're
well
on the
though.
open.
Mounted's like a great counter for pets.
Yeah.
But on foot it's
It just kind
sleep
of
pretty
ruins
much.
foot PvP right now because they're just so strong.
They could add also like a disorient, in WoW when
Yeah, they had some cool stuff like that in MO1 too. It's like disease was pretty nice, but it was a good counter.
Don't we have the
What else about balance? Are we just talking about pets?
I can talk about pets being
Let's talk about the
unbalanced
stam.
for hours.
Okay.
Yeah, stam regen sucks. Like it feels so garbage right now to fight outnumbered. You're pretty much like once you go like below 25 stam, you're pretty much there for the whole time. At least as a foot fighter. It doesn't feel really good.
Yeah, so they added the armor penalties on stam, right? The jump penalties. There's, I think Sneeze says there isn't, but I'm pretty sure if you get hit, you lose stamina. What
Yeah,
I
else
would
is
like
there?
it
25.
actually if I would really love it if bows used a lot less stamina while on foot. And I think that could also help with the stamina problem because if you stam out while on foot, like, really low stam, switching to bow, maybe not moving or something could cost you a lot less stam. So you can still dish out damage and stuff if you're in a safe spot to pull out a bow. It gives the fight more variety. I know a lot of people are gonna hate that idea. Like, oh, I have to switch to bow. It would be a turret or something.
I mean, I feel like the bows don't use too much if you have
if you
As
don't use
long
your
as you
mats,
don't
right?
move.
if
and
you don't move,
hold.
yeah, and you don't hold them, it's not that bad. ASIMs use a massive amount of stamina, it seems, but longbows and short bows don't seem that bad.
Yeah, short bows you could probably do that right now. Just
And you can
take
reduce
it out, start spamming.
aiming technique reduces the stamina, I believe. So
Which one of those is in game and not in game? There's two, right?
controlled aiming is not. That's the one that lets you like cancel bow sway with a
Yeah.
keep with a button, but I don't think that's in the game at all.
Either way, stam is. There's a lot of standing still in fights.
I was
Which-
thinking about this recently a lot. I don't know why. Whenever I think of like someone talking about like the communities coming into the game, if somehow the Chinese come into the game, I don't know why in my head I would be much more afraid of like a Chinese Zerg of like 30, 40 players coming at me with short bows than like with a melee weapon. Just because in my mind I'm thinking like, well, only so many people with a melee weapon can be hitting you at a time, right? But
Yeah.
like short bows, if they're all just like sniping at you and like they're not running out of stam, like you can't block arrows. Like you're just gonna get pelted with fucking arrows and die. And a short bow, like you really don't use any stam at all. And I said
But
this
if,
earlier in the MO chat. Like I think that would be like actual meta if we actually had some like real big Zergs, and they could just be running at you naked with short bows, and they would just dunk you. What are you
Well,
gonna
they're
do?
just gonna die
I
in
mean,
2 hits. Like it depends how many people you have, right? Like
Yeah.
it's all situational.
There's
But
nothing
if
you
you have
can do.
like 8 to 10 geared people, you're just gonna mow through them. If they
but
have
are
short
you
bows.
though?
I think so. I mean,
If they start at a
steel-
distance, like if you let's just say it's 30 versus 10, even if they're naked, I don't know, man. I'd still
you
put my
start
money
at a
on the 30.
distance too, and you have your own longbows and magic.
Yeah, but if you stop to use your longbows, I think that would hurt you more.
I don't know. I feel like the whole foot archer thing doesn't really. I don't know. Foot
In
archers tend.
theory, it's fine, but then like when you see it play out, it's almost always
I
bad.
feel like an action foot archer
Well,
really only works out when you have.
I mean,
more
what happens
numbers.
when like just one of them per one of your melee pulls out a melee, and then the rest are just short bows, and they're just sniping you while you're fighting the melee, or having to parry him and worry about him, and the rest are just shooting you. Because even
But
if
are
they
you
only do like
thinking-
10 damage a hit, you know, if you have like 5 people shooting you with short bows, and they're just like, you know what I mean?
They can't block you. So like 2 of you get into their group, you're just going through their group, killing them. If they're all
Plus,
naked with short
like,
Because
if
bows,
they,
you're-
right?
what
they're
if the, I
naked,
mean,
you're
they're
gonna
not just gonna be
shoot a
standing
hit.
there either. You're gonna have to like stand manage just to catch them too. And they're short bows, so they're not really using stamina to shoot you.
In my
Yeah.
experience, most of the time, foot archers, once you get on like someone who's just playing foot archer, they just turn and run and then they die.
You know
Pretty
what though? You should try
consistently.
that with AC. See how well it does. Try the full.
Yeah, have you seen-
the
have-
naked?
Have you
short
seen
bow.
the only person I've seen like do it effectively and somewhat is that guy I think he's from Wolfsight, the Rias guy, Rias?
Yeah, Rias.
Yeah, he's done some foot archer PvP videos. I
Yeah.
mean, granted, I think they're like Bhakti guilds, but
I mean, if you have the terrain, you can kind of do it, I suppose.
I think he actually had a video of 1v1ing Booyah with a short bow.
I mean,
It's like
Right.
a long time ago.
oh man,
It's really stam that like you need to know Stambo to foot fight with it.
a what, Sam?
A no Stambo,
that's not really a thing in this one.
Yeah. but I'm sure a short bow with aiming technique would do pretty good.
Isn't it just if you like use a low strength bow? If you go like 10 or 20 points below your strength limit, you pretty much use no stam.
Yeah, I think there's also the movement in this game's different. Like in the first game, you could really abuse movement with a bow and kind of just straight up fight someone, but I don't think you can really do that. You can't do that the same way in this one.
The charge time's also like 3 times as long in
Yeah.
MO2.
What would you guys ever think about them adding like carrying and blocking to bows?
I don't like it because you can't block bows. So I think it'd be a little bit silly if you could. Because like I mean, you know what's actually strong in like a small fight. This isn't strong in big. Well, probably still a bit strong in big fights, but it's much stronger in small fights. Like a metal armor Ogmir with a 123 longbow, and then just like rock solid. Like you're hitting them for 10s and they're shooting you for 30s and 40s in your face.
I'm not even sure you hit for 10s, depending.
Yeah,
on
like
weapon.
it's so small. I mean, I was an Alvarin with a Malite spear and I hit.
You're
him.
talking about like steel armor?
Yeah. Yeah, like if
steel
you're
armor
like
plus?
steel armor and you're a longbowman and you have the rock solid clade, while that's going, you will win. You can just sit with someone on you and just shoot them, and you will win.
Yeah, I
And
did make an
great.
Ogmir tank specifically because I get focused a lot in fights and be able to run in there and soak damage.
Like it's
pretty fun.
I
The
think
plate
that,
is super broken right now.
but that kind of shows like blocking. Like if you were blocking and then they're shooting the bow, it's pretty.
Imagine if they parried you with the bow and then just like insta shot you with an arrow.
Yeah,
or a
yeah.
riposte.
So definitely, yeah. If there was a
Like-
parry return, it'd be really dumb.
But like, what if you took block damage? Like, you don't get a parry, but it's blocked.
Yeah,
Like,
do I get my
wonder
do I get
if
my
that
insta
makes
shot?
it-
I think.
No.
I mean, I don't know
Oh,
how. I
damn
don't
it.
think it'd be that bad. It would make foot archer stronger, and I don't know if foot archer really needs stronger because it's pretty strong. It's just situational. It's not like a full on.
But what if I have like the
Always
bow and I
good.
parry him and I smack him in the head with it? Like that. So I do some damage.
I don't know.
or
Why don't we
something?
ask Legolas?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Legolas. Like perfect example. Thank you. Like a real life scenario of like someone with a bow does really well with it in melee.
Yeah, a real life scenario.
I mean, I could live with both being able to parry if I could like block, stop their attack by hitting him. You know.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it would be pretty cancer. I'm sure.
that's the thing. Like I don't know if you could just parry horror and then charge an arrow and then continue to parry horror. All your hits will be unblocked when you land them.
I'm curious to think, or we hear what you guys say, but maybe we can go down the list after you guys talk about it. Like, what do you guys think is the strongest overall from like all game systems, rep, everything included? Like, what's the strongest foot fighter build right now? Like, not hybrid, but just
Ogmir with a spear.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it depends what kind of fight. Like I think Cercers are really good in smaller, like but still pretty equal numbered group fights. But like Ogmir's so good in big fights. Just
I
because
actually think Thursar is better in bigger fights because you're likely not to get hard focused. I feel like
Thursar
Thursars
with
are
what
usually
weapon?
Really? Every time I do big, I've done big fights.
Axe, sword, poleaxe, spear. Pretty versatile, I think.
What
I heard-
weapon? He literally names every fucking.
Yeah,
weapon.
I think
all
spear.
4 meta weapons, pretty much.
I think spear's the best in group
Yeah,
fight.
spear is the best weapon in the game. So
I don't know about
probably
1v1s.
Is spear
much,
better
but-
than poleaxe though? Don't they do like the same pierce damage?
Yeah, but
no,
poleaxes take
nowhere
so,
near close.
Oh,
The
really?
problem with
Oh.
poleaxes
they take
is
so
like,
much stamina and they're slow.
after Flakestone, the poleaxes just get really, really weak. Like, you usually don't want to go
Yeah, I wouldn't
any-
go. I wouldn't go
any
higher
further
than
past
Jade.
Flake.
Like Jade, it's the highest I will go on like a Blaine or a
Because it's so
Surthar.
slow.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
slow and it takes a lot of stamina for what you're doing.
What about this pole sword meta that people keep talking about? How has anyone tested?
I think
It's
pole
not.
swords just
They're
suck
bad.
compared to
they need,
axes.
they need a buff. That's
Henrik
why
said they're buffing them, so
Yeah, hopefully
that's
they buff
probably
the
what
I
Damn
thought
Dragon
someone said they
down.
already got buffed.
No.
I think it's supposed to be next patch. Or
Hopefully they
something
lower
soon.
the stam drain. That's the-
Oh,
the
a France
main
guy
thing.
using it. So I was just curious. Actually, touch.
Dude, La France, they're new guys. They're like new, like fully new.
Not all of them. Like Luca's been here since like the first stress test. He's the guild leader.
Well,
I've definitely seen La France around for a long time.
I'm still
All right.
upset, man. I'm still mad about that.
About what?
I 1v7 them and I didn't have it on Shadow Play. Luca doesn't even deny it. But like my fucking Shadow, I ran out of hard drive space, so I couldn't get it on Shadow Play.
Those guys need some work.
Oh yeah, that fight we had with Team Rocket. I think there was only like 5 of us there. Like pretty much it was like all of France. Oh my
Why-
god,
okay.
Bloodio, dude! When I watched that video, dude, I walked up to Bloodio in that fight, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, run! He's like, can't. My horse is mercy. And I look at his health, and he's like dying. I'm like, get off your fucking horse! What are you doing? And he just died on his horse. Like, Bloodio's not like a new player at all, and that made me sad. I watched that video and I saw him just die on his horse.
The real question is, I thought you had no allies. What happened? Why did you
Don't
call
have
La
allies.
France?
Oh my god. Okay, so here's the thing. First of all, like, okay, let's say Nightfall groups up with RPK, which they have been at Scaffolding. Are they allies? Just because they PvP? Like, I don't get it. Like, what's the logic there?
Do you fight each other?
Sometimes, yeah.
There we go. I don't know.
But the thing is like when we fought Team Rocket, like we were coming back from GK because VII showed up at VK, so we like basically dipped the fuck out of there. And then we fought some Draco guys at the Rizar camps, and then we were coming past our keep. We saw this big group, like ran up to them. It happened to be with France, and we're like, oh okay, shit, cool. And then like there was like 10 of them, so there was only 5 of us. We weren't about to sit there and fight them. And then they thought we were Team Rocket for whatever reason. Like we walked up to them, I was like, dude, I knew it had to be you guys. There's so many of you. We're just like talking. He's like, yeah, man, I thought you guys were about to be Team Rocket. And then like literally we started walking back to MK from the spider cave that's right by our keep. And who we fucking run into? Fucking Team Rocket is literally right above the cave. Right below is all the La France guys. And then one of the guys ran back and told the La France guys, and then like it was just like they ran off like in a different, like the wrong direction looking for Team Rocket, so they ended up going like north of them and then had to come back, and you can see it in the video. They basically got lost, even though they were right above the spider cave, or we were above the spider cave fighting.
I was so sad because I was like, man, if we just had like 2 or 3 more, I just like kept running out of stam.
Well, the thing is, what gear were you wearing? Because apparently
was in
fucking
steel.
Xyloth was in tongue steel.
I think he was in steel.
No, he said
but-
tongue steel, and they looted tongue steel.
Ah, well, then it must have been steel.
Yeah,
There's
he
only
said
4 of us versus like 15 to 20. So like,
Okay, everybody, I'm ghosting to MK. This is where all the PvP is.
right, but I mean, like, you gotta fuck what he's an Ogmir and tongue steel versus like people in like Ironbone.
you not got magic? I got flame struck like 3 times in the fight, so you definitely have magic.
I mean, maybe we had like 1 mage. I don't know how many France had, but they did Spider Queen, so they probably had 1 or 2. Yeah. If they weren't healing, maybe they were doing damage. Who'd you get hit by? Was it?
It was
I
actually
don't
your
know.
guy. It was Viren.
Aaron?
Though I'm pretty sure the little France guy didn't target with me with magic at all, so not sure.
Right, but I mean, like how many like Ironbone people do you think 1 Ogmir and tongue steel is worth? Like, be honest, be genuine about that answer.
It depends on the
It all depends
people.
on it depends a lot on the people. It depends, like the people I was killing weren't parrying the right directions at all. So It's like, how do you evaluate that for gear as well? Because if there's a Tungsteel Ogmere who doesn't know how to parry, they're still gonna die.
Yeah.
But pretty
That's
much.
not an answer at all. But
What
alright.
do you
But you
mean?
can't-
Like,
you can't
what,
really-
maybe
Ge-
3. It's
Gears
all
not-
You
situational.
could, yeah, you could put a value on it. It's just, it's an opinion.
I don't know,
It's not a
man.
fact.
Gears enough to like completely. If you're bad and the other person's good, and like it's not really.
Okay, Sneeze, you were literally just sitting here talking about if you're an Ogmere with a longbow standing still with rock solid, you could kill someone in a.
Yeah, with a
But
bow.
you're telling
because
me you
they
can't put
block.
a value on how many people like an Ogmere and Tungsteel's worth.
It depends on the Ogmere. Because like if it's just
Okay.
a full on, I was just saying the foot archer thing is strong. I'm not saying like makes it strong for everybody. Obviously, if you were bad with the bow, you did that and you're still useless because you're missing the person, right? Like someone who can parry versus 3 people who can't.
Plus, like, if
It's
you have
big.
mages, you have complete immunity to that armor. So it's like,
Well, I mean, that's kind of a factor, but you also had 2 of your own mages healing him.
it's fair, I guess.
So
Get a mage banged. I don't know.
Sounds like you guys need to do a 5v5 guild versus guild prize fight.
hey, listen, I've already asked them to do a 5v5. They don't want to.
Oh
Apparently.
no.
Whoa. That's
Whoa.
not me saying that.
Whoa.
I mean,
Real
technically, I never
doesn't do,
asked.
like,
I asked
ding.
him. He said for me to ask leadership, and I was like, "Yeah, it's okay, dude. Don't worry
Yeah, our
about it."
guild's not a whole lot about like setup fights and stuff.
Sounds like a dodge to me.
Oh no, Team Rocket's dodging.
Team Rocket.
I don't like
Mm.
setup fights though. I feel like they don't really prove anything.
They
What do you
don't
mean? You
teach
gotta
as
have
much
an,
as well.
you gotta have an
It
ego
wasn't. It
fight
wasn't for
once
like
in a
ego.
while.
It was just for like practice, really. Like
My
that was
problem
the
is
intent.
they don't teach enough sometimes because it's like it's usually like you start in one corner, we start in the other, and then we just look at each other, and then like while you're waiting for it to start, you're like, oh, who's the mage? You know, who's the foot fighter or whatever? Who do we target? That's why I don't really like a lot of the practice fights too.
I mean, PvP never happens like it happens in staged fights, right? I mean, you're somewhere, you get jumped, like it just never goes so organized, if you know what I mean. There's a lot
Yeah,
more
for
chaos
sure.
involved in like actual PvP. Like you might,
but if
might not
you have-
notice
if
mage
you have-
straight away, or
If you have people who are newer, it's very good still.
Yeah, I've had people
It's-
complain in our group fights, like, oh, can you guys not use bow? Like, what? I don't know. I find that to be
against
such
you
an
guys
odd
or
request.
in your
No,
guild?
like our guild, you know, in like fights will like open up with bows.
Oh,
and
other
it's like-
people complain.
Yeah, and then the other
okay.
people would be like, "Hey, can you guys like not use bows? Like we could like no, I mean that's part of the game. Like at
You gonna
range,
tell
you're probably
them
gonna
not to
open
use
up with
magic
bows.
next?
Yeah.
That was kind of the thing too. It's like, well, you got magic. And,
You gotta
Uh,
play with what you got, pretty
yeah,
much.
like
I don't know, I feel like
I mean, if it was pets, it would be I would understand. Be like, all right, we won't use our bears, but not that we use bears, but it's just like, all right, we won't do that. You know what I mean? Like that, I get that more. Get like asking to.
I mean, whatever it takes to win, right? I mean,
I don't know. I feel like both are that.
10v10, 10 terrorbirds on your team. Let's go,
I mean,
baby.
if you wear steel armor, bows don't do that much.
Even in like unless the person's just nailing you, bows tend to be more annoying, and then the fight starts and they stop being a thing. Because
I don't
either
know.
the person
I-
with the bow out dies because it's just the easiest target, or
yeah,
they
the
put their
Alvarin
bow,
with a spear just bonk, bonk, bonk.
yeah, or they put their weapon away and now they're a melee fighter and they're contributing in the actual fight.
Yeah,
which
I
is
mean, I
good.
don't think anyone just like. Oh,
They do. That's the thing. They sit with their bow
Yeah,
and then
I
they
mean, like,
shoot and like
it happens, but like it doesn't. It's usually like not like intentional from like a player who like understands the game. You know what I mean? Like they're not gonna just sit there with their bow. while
Speaking
you're just pushing
of
it.
archery, and we talked about if you like sort of need a buffer now in some way. What do you guys think about making the weapon swapping a little faster? Because it's really slow right now.
it's
don't know if
dreadfully
it's-
slow.
I don't know if that's good for the game or bad for the game.
No,
but,
I like it. I like
Nah,
it.
I don't.
I don't want this to be ESO online where it's just
I mean,
like
I'm-
multi-swapping weapons.
Yeah, I don't
think you
think
should
switching
get punished.
weapons. It should still have a 2-second delay.
Yeah,
or
I
whatever
like
it
it
is.
how it is personally.
I think taking your weapon out and putting it away should happen a little bit faster, maybe. But it's because everything just feels really slow compared to
Isn't
the
that what you
first.
just said?
No. Equipping an item, right, has like a timer on it, right? You can't just equip change items.
Yeah,
all the
because
time.
your character goes through an animation.
Yeah, but it's like equipping armor, right? Or did they get rid of that for weapons? There's just a lock in itself, right? When equipping.
Yeah,
Can't see
some
that.
guy in chat just said weapon swapping is based on dex. That would be interesting. I think it probably wouldn't be very good, but
I don't know. I don't like the idea of people just switching weapons nonstop.
yeah. I sort of like committing to a playstyle, you know, like you have your build and then like you got your primary and then you got your secondary.
I want bandages to be able to be canceled though. That would be nice.
I want the bandage RNG to be a little tighter. Like the fact that you can go from like 20 to like 40, it's just sort of ridiculous.
Yeah, that is kind of stupid.
The variance is huge, even with 100 anatomy.
I mean, a lot of things are RNG that really shouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean they only make it harder for them to balance the more RNG they have.
Yeah,
Who loves the movement speed?
on what?
I wish it was higher
So
overall,
shit.
but
I feel like
I get why it's lower. Like I get it.
there should be like a base movement speed for everyone, if you know what I mean. Like, and especially like walking should be faster. If not for like vets or like, not for quality of life, but just for people who start playing the game, if you know what I mean. Because you start with what 350 or something, and it just feels like you're walking through mud. Just give everyone when you log into the game fucking 400 speed or whatever, you know.
Well,
I
that's
don't know
sort of a
because do you
problem
want
for
to?
fat mages.
Yeah, do you want to? They already have that problem with at 25 decks. You hit a major bump in speed, and so that makes obese characters actually go like 390 as opposed to going like 310, which they would if they didn't have that big like new player hurdle bump. I don't know. I feel
There's
like
a lot of hurdles for new players though.
this is definitely something they should do once the game's normal skill gain is that a lot of the action skills should probably level significantly faster than they do at one times.
How quick does an Alvarin run right now?
444 if you have
Yeah.
max X. Yeah.
In the 440s, if you're like a Shiva or an Alvarin, or
Yeah.
Shavila at like a reasonable age.
Even with the Clade, it's not that desyncy, right?
Yeah, it gets up to
Not
like
really.
490. Does
Yeah, I think the desync argument is just not very well tested.
Yeah, I don't think it's very desyncy. It
Well,
also depends like on scale for launch too. Like we're not playing with launch numbers likely.
what do people mean by desyncy? Well, what's the problem?
Well, the
Teleporting.
the game predicts where people are going to be
Yeah.
for your client, right? And when at least previously, the faster they made stuff, the worse that performed, and the funkier everything looked with like desync.
Right, okay.
I mean, I think they
Yeah.
should increase the movement speed of foot. It's just flat. Everybody go up a bit.
I
'Cause
agree.
It,
I
it,
mean,
it,
if
it
you look
does
at
feel
it,
slow.
we're running at about like 210 MO1 speed right
And
now.
it wouldn't really. I don't think it
Hello,
changes anything
motherfucker.
balance-wise.
But like across the board, you just do like a flat increase.
Yeah, like a flat increase. Like I think where speeds are with characters is fine. Actually, I mean,
But then you got to do a lot to like probably like archery and stuff, right? Because then they're just gonna get ran down when you're in melee tray.
It used to be this way. Like
what do you mean?
Because you're fast, like you're faster
They have
sprinting.
you have less time. They have less. Yeah, you have less time to get to them. Yeah,
Yeah.
or they have less time till you get
Like
to
they
them.
can't even like swap their weapon at that point unless you're like it's only like 20 meters away, 30 meters.
Yeah,
I think. Well, I guess there is like a lot of issues right now. I don't say issues, but it does feel frustrating when a fucking mage is casting in your face, and you're like half stam, and there's like no way you can reasonably get to them with the speed.
yeah.
What
So I
about?
think that would be nice, even if they're faster. Well, like you'd be like parrying someone as well. But right now, it's like really hard
So,
to.
It
gives
why-
them more
sort of
time to
defeat that
react, right?
combination.
Why are you talking about a 1v2 situation?
No, it's a group fight in general.
Yeah,
That
even
happens.
like
Like,
it
you should-
works.
most of the time in group fights, you're blocking. There's someone on you, and you're trying to block them, but you're
It
trying
sort
to
of
like,
applies to like anything really. Like in a team fight, like someone's on you, and then someone's doing something where you can punish, but you just don't have the sort of like availability of speed to do it. And it doesn't matter if you're an Alvarin or an Ogmir. Like it's sort of
I don't know, I just think it'd make the
As
whole
you
game.
Yeah,
said,
but
Yeah.
everyone has their hurdles. Like mages have to stand as cast. They can't kite you when you
Well,
cast.
what I'm saying is like someone will be shooting a bow super close to you, like close enough to where like it feels like maybe you should punish. Or same thing with casting. Like someone's. I just wish we were a little faster so we could punish them away. I don't know.
Just make the combat in general feel a bit faster. If everybody just, if they just increase the
100%.
speed of everybody by like, doesn't it probably like 20, 30, 40, like anything, probably more. I don't know.
25%, that's fine, probably.
Yeah, but if you do that, then you're also nerfing mage correctly because we have to stand to cast still.
I
True,
mean, it was
but
in
you can
MO1
offset a
mages were
buff.
fine. There's nothing wrong with it in MO1.
I mean, that's what I was gonna say. Like, the thing with mages, like, I mean, they've kind of played MO1 so much where blocking was not an option. That mage is just so much easier. Like, I've played mage a good bit now in this one, and it is so easy thinking, oh yeah, that one guy coming at me, I'll just block him, as opposed to having to like footwork around dodging him in your group till someone could get him off you. You could just hang out with him blocking until people come kill him. Like, it's so much easier with blocking than having to just only worry about your movement to like dodge them.
In MO1, you could, isolate a target, sticky them, get back to your group in the span of like 10 to 15 seconds. In MO1, in MO2, 10 to 15 seconds, you probably.
I've given them 3 blocks because everybody blocks.
Yeah.
Here, I'll be right back.
Like, also, if something like that changes, you can always offset like a nerf to mages that way by buffing them in some way. But personally, I think the magic might be a little overpowered right now, so I don't really have a problem with nerfing them a little bit.
Well, that goes hand in hand with the speed as well, because it's hard to aim at a target that's going 30% faster, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm also like I might be a little. I play the slowest race in the game, so it's hard. But even when I played like Sci-Fighter and stuff, I didn't really. I always felt like magic is
But you play Ogmir?
quite strong. Yeah, I play Ogre.
Ursa slower than Ogmir?
415 without H23 and +2 dex in the tree for Ogmir. So 419 is the max you get for Stout.
Why are you age 20?
Because you get one more dex and you cap out at 89, which is the threshold for 419.
I thought a Thurstar only had 417.
Maybe if you're like age 30. But I don't know. I think H23 is just the best for almost every foot fighting build right now.
I don't think. I mean, if you have Psy, like mages aren't really that much of a threat in my opinion. It's such a huge help in a mage fight.
I don't think the build cost is worth it.
I feel like I want to play Ogrim on release, right? For it because I want to play the same build, but I want to have some extra points to play with, potent neutralization and stuff like that. But I feel like Psy is such a huge buff to my build right now because I don't have to worry about like being filmed or anything, right? Because it'll hit me for what 30.
Well, it's not guaranteed.
The variance is huge. I mean, if you resist,
Yeah, and
Psy
resisting.
is really good. But without it, I don't think it's worth the build cost.
Like I don't really worry in like a 1v2 about the mage all that much. I just like scare him away every once in a while. That's about it. I feel like if I'm gonna play an Ogrim and have no Psy, I'm just gonna get fucking wrecked by mages. Like
Don't
An
worry about mages at
assassin-
launch. It's gonna take like 2-3 weeks for mages to be effective.
I mean, also, an Ogmir should get wrecked by a mage. It's sort of their, like, their balance is that they're really strong in melee, but like a lot of vulnerability to magic. So I think in that sense, that's perfectly fine. Just depends what you want.
And what Assassin said in Twitch chat there, he's fundamentally misunderstanding balance because a mage should be squishy. You're at range, you cast heals. Just like an archer can't block. a mage really shouldn't be able to block either for that reason.
Well, an
By
archer can block
wanting to
in
be
the same.
tanky and a support class, like that makes no sense. Just
Well, an archer can block in the same way that a mage can block, because if I have a shield pulled out, I can't heal or cast at all.
you have to switch weapons as an archer.
Right, but it takes what, 1-2 seconds longer.
Yeah, a bit longer, but you see what I'm saying, anyways.
So how is mages on MO1? Like, was it still like really strong? Is it because
Well, there's
in
a lot of
MO2 that
systems that are
shields
different
make
from
it too
MO1.
good, or?
You more just survived with your movement in ML1.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather survive with my movement than how it is. I don't want to be in the line. I want to be far away, and kiting, and I'd rather be doing.
Oh yeah, that's the tragedy of the movement speed that we have. You can't break a sticky with your movement very well.
Yeah, watching mage play in MO1 looks pretty compared to what I have now.
I'm not sure we're gonna get any changes like this though, because
No,
I
of
think
course not.
Henrik's pretty.
They would have to change
Henrik's
everything. They would
pretty
have to change
set.
like every horse speed and everything too to adjust
Yeah,
for
that's
the new
true.
movement speed.
That's like the only issue with balancing some of these things is you have to change so much just to offset one change.
You'd have to buff like all movement speed for all mounts and humans across the board by like 25%, right? But then what does that look like when you have like a desert horse going 3 speed? Does it look like he's just lag switching at that point? Like, it would look so ridiculous, right?
I don't have a problem with mages personally. I don't think they're overpowered, in my opinion. I mean, you're so weak in a 1v1. You're so limited in what you can do. You can't really PvE.
Yeah, the PvE aspect is probably pretty bad for them.
Yeah, I just had a guy join our guild today, and I always ask people like archetype, what's their most like played gameplay style, like what do they like to pick between like melee, archer, magic. He said magic, and I'm like, okay, well, first things first, like it's not exactly required, but you're gonna have to get used to the idea that mage is pretty much centered around like group play right now. So like when you're playing solo and you're doing PvE, you have a much easier time as like a foot fighter. And I'm not trying to direct him in any way. I'm just giving him like the honest truth. Like, it's pretty much group play at this point.
Yeah,
that
they
you're
did
getting to do most
they
of the
did a
stuff.
good job with making turtles more vulnerable to magic and stuff. But yeah, like I don't know, magic
Well,
I think is hugely flawed in that sense, where it's like it's really really good in team fights, and then it's like other aspects of the game just sort of
It would be
aren't very
cool
well designed.
if they outright separated magic damage on mobs and magic
Yeah,
damage on players,
100%.
because
I don't.
you can't balance both together. But if they separate them, it'd be easier. Because currently, like they have to just, I assume, just make mobs really bad against magic in order to increase the damage, or, and I think it'd be better if they could just completely, magic had just different damage against mobs.
You also need PvE only spells. Give them like a crowd control. Give them
Yeah, that'd be good too.
shit like that.
like a root spell or something, like an AoE root.
100%,
I don't know.
yeah.
Something.
Yeah, if it only works in
And
PvE.
I
then-
still don't understand why they nerfed Earthquake, because I used to farm zombies with Earthquake as a mage. Yeah, we did Black Opals. No one was even fucking using the spell, and when
Yeah,
they like nerfed
well,
it,
that's the
it's
thing.
like, what?
Earthquake's not going to be a good spell unless they add in PvP. Unless they add.
It only has like 500 range on it. Like,
It's really
think of
broken
this:
right
Flame
now.
Strike only has 1300, and it's really hard to land Flame Strikes because you can't ever tell the distance, and it's a really fucking short distance. Now imagine that Earthquake is almost a third of that range. It's like nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's also just like it's just one of those PvP spells that like if you use it in PvP, either it works out well, but most of the time it's just a bad move.
I probably use
Right.
Earthquake like, and a lot of people think I'm a bad mage, but so this is gonna go with like almost no meaning. But like I've used Earthquake like 10 times in PvP, and I think it only like successfully like did what I wanted to do one time.
But it's
So-
like that in general. Almost no one in MO1 the same thing. Almost no one got like group EQs well.
I did
Yeah.
them all the time.
Yeah,
and it
but
was
sometimes you just full on die for it, right? Like
pretty
people-
rarely. Honestly, it does so much damage. It does like
it's like
600
that's like a
damage.
Killox move to like I'm in the back of their group. I just EQ'd. I'm dead.
But
Like-
it's broken in MO2 anyways. You can't do that. The range is
Yeah.
horrible. The prediction also makes the range worse. You can be point blank and not hit someone.
I don't know. They should make it dismount. That made it like just a good PvP spell.
Even if they make it dismount, the way the prediction is, they need to increase the range. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. Period.
Yeah, I don't see Earthquake being good when you can knock down people. Like, it's just like if you go for it, you're pretty much running into a team and you're probably gonna die too. So
Well, the thing is, like, because of how short the range is, even when they add dismount, it's still gonna be fucking hard as fuck to land because
Yeah,
like
it should probably be
the
increased as
desync
well,
with
a little
like
bit.
horses is even worse than foot. So you gotta imagine you're chasing this guy on horse. You think you're right next to him, you hit EQ, but really on his screen, he's like 10 feet in front of you and does nothing but dismount you, and now you're fucked. So
Yeah, it should probably be increased a bit with that as well.
it's yeah,
I'd be
500
fine with
range
that.
is like nothing, boys. That's like melee range. Like you can probably hit someone with a pole axe, like 500, and that's it or something. I don't know. I would love to be able to somehow test, but now I need the fucking black opal. Can't really do that, but
How do you get a black opal?
I also think the black opal requirement's silly. Because it's not like pyrites you buy it off a vendor. Like you have to go mine specific stuff to get pyrite, right?
I've
you
heard
need
it's
a
in
black
Satyr
opal to
Temple.
Earthquake? Is that what they just
Yeah,
yeah,
they made it-
it's a reagent now. That's what I was talking about
That's-
before. They added that
silly.
nerf to the spell, and nobody was even using Earthquake, and we still have no indication of if we're getting a dismount or when.
I
So-
thought I couldn't be more upset.
Yeah, the black opal thing makes no sense.
Where do you even get those? From Granum?
I've heard they're in Satyr Temple, like the Satyrs dropped all those gems or whatever. Maybe you get black opal, but I
Right.
think you can also mine it.
You
But
get
it's
gems
so
a lot less
rare
than mining now.
that you're gonna mine it, so it's just like you have to go to Satyr Temple.
Well, hopefully they buff it if they're doing that. Because
They should just remove the black opal requirement.
Yeah, I don't know why they ever
Generally.
added that. Was so stupid. And I like added Henrik on the stream like the right after the patch that they did it, which was a while ago now, but and he was just like, "Oh well."
I do feel like they're breaking every class except Foot Fighter for the most part. And there's a lot of people who are going to be okay with that, but it's an
I'm-
MMO, you know. Like
I'm surprised
you-
people stop complaining about MCs. Like I still don't see MCs. I still think MC is bad. Generally
MC
speaking.
is bad. It's
I
just
feel
not
like
worth it.
yeah, the hitboxes on swung weapons on MC is just stupid. I
You
don't
know
know,
what?
it makes no
I
sense.
I think all the MC fighters stand out about complaining about it. They,
Yeah, like,
they
I
just gave
like-
up.
I like that you have to time your swings more, but I don't like that it makes no sense whether or not you're gonna hit, and you have to be like right next to someone if you're not using a lance or a
I
spear.
actually think mounted in general is like fine. Like it's not none
Yeah,
of
it's
it's
not bad.
overpowered right now. It's just annoying that you need also someone that's mounted to chase. Like that's
Yeah, I mean,
you
I
know,
think
someone's gonna play that role, so you just get someone to do it, and you don't have to. So I
I
think,
think-
it's fine.
I feel like the dismount, just some sort of dismount mechanic, which really mostly affects foot, but also would make MC a bit better mounted versus mounted, right?
I don't know. I mean, like it goes both ways. I really just think it depends on like the foot fighter's skill, because there was I don't know how long ago this was. It was like 2-3 weeks ago now. We were fighting a Tian Ming group, an MK, and they have their stronghold outside MK. So they were pushing down the road. They were a full foot group, besides one mounted, but we ended up dismounting him. And we were 4 mounted, and this was back when I had my fat mage, and like we had like 3 mounted archers and me on my fat mage. And they had like probably like 6 or 7 footies, but I think some of them were new, obviously, or something. But like we were able to effectively harass them and keep pushing them because we got to dictate the fight. So it's like balance in the way that mounteds can really like dictate the fight, unless they all happen to like beam all of our like one horse all at the same time with their longbows. Like we could just keep pulling out and healing and coming back. So it's just annoying when you're the foot fighter and you like really want the fight. But the other team, they can just either dick around or just leave whenever they want. That's the frustrating thing. It's
Yeah.
like you can't finish. You're just like you can do the damage with longbows for sure. Like it's there. Longbow damage against horses it's crazy, right? But if they don't want the fight or if they don't want to commit to the fight, they don't have to, and you can't really do anything about it. That's just that's the trade up that you get.
Well, I think like what you just have to end up doing is you just have to have your own mounted.
Yeah, you have to have like one, at
Which
least
is good,
one
I
mounted.
think, because then you need a mix. Like ideally, you want like everything in your comp, so the play rate of things are pretty good. Like you want a mage, you want a foot fighter, you want an MA, you want an MC.
I think- I
scale
feel
it
like-
up a little bit.
if they make MC swung MC a little easier, like a little, the hitbox a little better, and then they add a dismount mechanic, both with damage on the horse and then maybe like EQ or something. It's not like that makes mounted useless. It just makes it so it's a little more punishing to go into a group, right?
Well, mounted is still broken in the way like it doesn't like calculate the velocity at all correctly. Like if you're MC behind like an MA and you like just put your pointer, like your spear down and hit them, it's acting like you're running into each other, right? It does like full damage. It needs to calculate that he's moving away. So if you just put it down and touch him, you wouldn't do any damage in real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you would just be poking him, like essentially. And he has armor on, so he's probably not even feeling it, right? So it needs to calculate that better. And in a way, if we're going off sort of like anything realism, like you probably shouldn't do any damage. If you're chasing a guy, he's running away from you, you're like you're not even thrusting with the lance, for example. You're just holding it. Like and then you just like happen to like bump into him a little bit. Like that's not gonna do any damage. You know what I mean? Like it would in real life. Like he's running away from you at similar speed. Like I don't know how they'll balance it, but it definitely needs to calculate the velocity better. In the same way, like if he's coming right at you, maybe it should be doing double the damage. You know what I mean?
I'd like to see
Oh,
the
thank you.
weaponization, at least on mounted combat.
Wait,
be more
real
like
quick.
MO1.
Look at my girlfriend's gift to me for Christmas. A fucking
it?
goblet, boys. Look at this shit.
Yeah, I'd like to see the axes and stuff come back on mounted. And
Do you think
maybe the aim be a little bit easier. You just have to you have to like let go of your charge 2 seconds
The
early.
precast. You have
I
to
never
precast
played,
that swing.
I never played MO1, but was the strength requirement really needed? Like the strength cap? Like you
Yeah,
can't go over 4
yeah.
kg?
Yeah. That was the biggest thing, honestly, that they added. They added that at the end. So before that, you would take the heaviest, like you'd have like a 7 or 8 weight sledgehammer, like maul made out of just metal, and you'd hit people 90s plus through metal armor. Like
It's
it
just
was
like if I want to be an MC and I also want to use an axe on foot, like a 5 kg axe, it doesn't really work as far as I know. So that sort of situation feels really bad.
I mean, part of it's different. It's probably a little bit weaker now because they redid the way they did handles this time is just so different, and the handles don't really add the kind of damage they used to, or weight. Like
Did
now,
handle hits even exist in MO1? I never
Yeah.
see anyone handle hit in those videos.
Really?
MO1's really common.
Man, you must be watching some good videos then, because maybe or people using spear. You didn't really handle hit with spear unless you heard.
I guess like maybe like I didn't like look at the combat log, but maybe I just don't see the feedback of when you got to handle
Yeah,
it or something.
they don't come up on the screen in front of you like they did in MO1. In MO2, I mean, in MO1 they're just only in the combat log. So maybe it's that people handle hit. There was a while where handle hits were so strong, people just used like clubs on a very long handle because the handle hits were good enough.
They're not bad now either. Like honestly, with the steel axe, I mean, you can see people hit for like 40 slash or like 40 slash like bone tissue gear for like 20s, 25s. Not bad. At least if you're third star.
But I mean, I don't know. I feel like the mounted's just there's very little penalty for taking the risk initially because there's so much option for them to just leave outright whenever they want.
Well, in MO2, there's just 0 dismount mechanics. So
And dismount really helps with like a mounted group. There's risk going into a foot group with dismount mechanics. But also, I really do not like that you can heal your mount while riding it. I think that's very silly.
I think that's fine if you had things like bolas and
Hey,
stuff.
you just got your fucking mounted mage fucking nerf, dude. You're still complaining about that shit?
I think it's silly in general.
How dare you?
I mean, Free Horses was saying it's even stronger than it was before, which
It's
I
only
don't even know if
stronger
that's
because it
true,
nerfed
but-
the other builds. That's the only reason it would be stronger.
Yeah,
It's
well,
not
then
actually
still
stronger in the way
stronger.
you do.
It's
Right,
still
like
an
it
overall-
requires other builds to have more commitment, which some will not.
I feel
So
like
in a way it's stronger, yes.
but the thing is, the Dex change nerfed some builds, but it didn't nerf.
It nerfed fat mages, 100%.
Yeah, nerf fat.
That
mages.
nerf fat mages. The mounted magery primary buffed mages because it disallows other builds, some builds, to not commit as much, and
Yeah.
then they just won't do it. So that kind of buff mages because now there's less people healing on mounts.
Well, Tumor's in chat. What is it? He's our resident fat.
I
mage.
asked Tumor. He went bulging on the day of the patch because of the dex nerf. Then he went back to obese, but now he's not using mounts. What he told me last. He's just a fat Ogbeer obese mage on foot is what he told me last. He's
I
parked
mean,
in
I think if
strategic
nobody
locations.
plays the class whatsoever, that's kind of a bit of a problem. But
Well,
I
I'm
still see fat
gonna
mage
be
a lot,
rolling
yeah.
a obese like Alvarin soon and see how that works because they have a high dex, but I only have 125 int, so or some shit like that.
You just tuned
I
into
think that's
the
fine.
latest
Though.
channel
Like,
on
you're still gonna hit hard with 125 int. 112 int, you still 70
I
with
think-
Fulms. Like
I think it
it's
was with
great.
obese. I still have like 420 movement speed too.
Yeah,
an
419,
Alvarin.
420.
Yeah, so that was pretty funny. So that's gonna be interesting. I really want to try it, see how it goes.
Well, I'm just glad we don't see hybrids healing their horses anymore.
Yeah, I didn't like the tribrid. I mean, has anyone seen a tribrid since the patch? Or
You can do it. I feel like
can you
people-
though?
Yeah, humans can still do tribrid.
Sneeze, what's Phantasmal gonna do with no tribrid?
He didn't really play tribrid. I was the one who played tribrid in MO1. He would never copy my tribrid build for some reason, even though it was clearly superior because I had magic.
Hybrid.
Yeah, I like that build too, actually.
Well, I mean,
everybody-
can you still do the tribrid even with the mounted magery skill?
Yeah,
You can still fit everything. They had to drop something, right?
you have the wheelchair still probably. You can drop armor training. I bet you can drop other stuff. Yeah.
So
To be
did-
fair,
well, it got
I mean,
nerfed,
to be
it's
fair,
just
I feel
playable.
like just hybrid MA mage is way better than MC anyway. MC is kind of shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if Tumor started this trend, but if you're using a fucking bow and a mage, you are now a hybrid.
That's what I'm saying.
I
But,
know
like-
you called it a hybrid. I'm just thinking in general because Tumor refers to himself as a fat mage, but if he pulls out a bow, you're not a fat mage.
Wait, he
To
pulled
my
out
MO1
Iona?
players in here, you guys have realized that you don't need MA skill to MA anymore? You still get max range.
You don't get the max damage though.
You don't get max damage, but in MO1 you just literally couldn't do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, okay.
But you also did no damage. You
Wait,
do a
I'm-
bit more damage in this
I'm
one.
curious because I noticed this the other day. Is there still that bug where like if you're shooting on horseback and then you like dismount, you're still doing the damage you would be doing on horseback? Because I was leveling my mounted archery while using a longbow on foot.
I leveled mounted archery to 100 the other day, having never ridden a horse on the character. So,
Right, that's is that like a bug? I don't
it's
know.
just some bug with it. I don't know what the bug is, but
But were you doing max damage? You think, or
no, but I don't know. I mean, I was doing some damage, but I was gaining MA, and I had literally
Yeah,
never ridden a horse.
that was happening to me? That might be a bug. That's
I don't know.
MA.
I don't like healing mounts. I like the idea of having a full reset, even on fat mage.
Then you need the buff like horses HP, right?
Maybe I feel like armors.
I don't know. Has anyone really
Oh,
seen any
armor,
fat
yeah, that'd
mages
be
since the
better.
patch though?
I feel like armor makes it. Yeah, I see fat mages.
I've seen one today, but it was like a new player, so
I'm sure fat mages are worse mounted versus mounted, but they're still very strong. Like it didn't really change fat mages versus foot too much, to be honest.
Someone
yeah,
in our
it's not
guild
gonna matter
was
much,
was testing mounted magery though, and apparently the damage is overall lower from his test. I don't know if that's consistent or it was just like
Well,
it seemed to be about the
Right.
same.
It's hard to
me.
test because the damage was always like this fucking range.
yeah,
right?
the
Like, it was
variance
never,
is
like-
too huge.
It was always
like-
like a range. So.
It was I think it was like 63 off mount and 57 on mount.
But that
like,
just
I
that
don't
sounds
know
like the
how much-
range. That just sounds like the
Yeah.
range you'd be doing. You know.
But that is the average, not just a single time.
Yeah, but even that just by itself, you could just have bad luck one time,
Yeah.
right?
There's no reason for it to like the mounted magery skill if it's at 100, right? I don't even know if it affects damage.
No, it shouldn't. It's just it
It
should
just-
have your effectiveness should just be 100% of like what it was before.
Yeah, I mean the idea was more that it should be just literally just some skill points you need, not really like do much.
I'm
you
wondering
know?
if they stole that from you, Sneeze, because you're like the one
They-
person
they
I ever
better
heard
have. I was
talking
the
about
one-
it.
I was the one who's talking about dex mounteds needing dex too, man.
I
they
don't know
really
about
need
that,
that,
but
though?
you were the only one to talk about the mounted magery skill. That was never a thing in MO1, was it?
Nope.
It's a good change for the game, though.
No, I'm not even salty about the mounted magery. I'm just salty about like how fucking shit it is to be a fat mage obese with the dex shit. That's the only thing that like salty about. I actually like the mounted magery, but nerf / buff because it makes you commit more to the magery on mount, which I like because I mage. I don't like these tribrids and hybrids and shit casting on mounts.
I mean, Tririd wasn't even good, I don't think. So like I
It
don't know.
wasn't
The feeling like
good,
the
but it
Dex
allowed
nerf
them to
was,
stay
like,
in the
so
fight.
random.
That's what I don't like. It allowed them to just pull off for 1 second, full heal, and
And
then
it
come
was
back.
good.
Like very little commitment.
It's definitely good because everybody's using short bows, so you don't actually need for MA. You don't actually need high strengths because ASIMs are
Oh, that's interesting.
right. So like any build was basically a competent MA as long as you had like 87 strengths, right? Whatever the max for like just good short bow is, you're still doing viable damage. And like even still, like there was human builds where you had like 120 and like 200 mana and MA and MC, and now you'd have less mana, but you still have decks.
I don't think
If you do
Assassin
that.
likes the skill. He said, and your cast time
I-
doesn't even go down for the 100 points. It's worse than all
It
the
shouldn't.
mounts.
Yeah, it shouldn't go down though. That would have been really
No,
broken.
it wasn't a buff. It only
Yeah.
buffed in the sense that like it required other builds to invest more. That was
Yeah.
the only sense of a buff that I would give it. It's definitely a nerf to mages in it still.
Yeah. By the way, Assassin is the resident magic is shit every time you talk to him.
Which is weird.
So just saying.
I feel like everybody says magic is too strong, and I don't really think it is. I only think bulging and obese are a little too strong. I
don't think
normal-
magic is underpowered at all. Only when it comes to PvE, like solo play.
Yeah, that's what it
I
just
just
needs to
think
be separated.
counterplay. I just think there's a lack of great counterplay because like the game like has directional combat and you're sort of slow, and then there's like hit scan magic. I don't know, but
I
I
mean-
mean they can't change that. Like it's,
I feel like if people
already
were
in the game.
faster, it'd help. I also think. I don't know.
Being faster would help for sure.
I think
would.
bulging. I think bulging and obese need some changes because it's just it's insane how much damage they do. But like just a normal, non-bulging.
Well, if you're
Mage
bulging
damage is
anything other
completely
than
fine.
Alvarin, you're fucked.
Yeah, but you're
What would be the
you're
point
that
of
you're
bulging,
basic.
though?
Well, bulging
Otherwise,
was
Yeah.
kind of the meta in MO2 for
Yeah.
mages.
it is.
Like you still get what I think I still had 430 movement speed on my Alvarin.
Yeah, you go
bulging.
432 and you foam and flame strike for 70s. Like
Yeah.
you're strong. It's really that's one thing. I think bulging's too strong, and obese. I would actually. Someone said this, and I really liked it. Is like moving the end off of the higher weights and down to the lower weights, so you're more of a glass cannon in exchange for the
Yeah, I would
damage.
be totally fine
That
with
would
that.
And
make
I
some
think
sense,
that
actually.
would
I
be
would hate
a
it,
lot
but yeah.
cooler. Because yeah,
Heck,
yeah.
you would be playing a mage. Don't.
But so at least
Didn't you used to play
the thing-
mage tech in MO2?
Yeah, I mean, I played everything, but yeah, I tend to play mage.
you got some weird like. Didn't you use like spear? It was like hybrid, but it was like you had like 65
remember-
strength. or
Yeah, I
something.
had a wonky build like that with like
Hackett's
140
actually
mana.
a really good mage from what I remember. I remember like seeing his videos. Like I remember him like not missing. Like that's what I remember. He was pretty on
Thanks, I'm
point.
sure Twitch chat's gonna light up with that kid shit.
I don't know. I think it'd be cool if like you're obese and you hit 80 flame strikes on non-side fighters or whatever, but then you also have like low HP because of it because like I feel like speed's not like a trade-off. It's a trade-off you can mitigate.
God, that's gonna be
lot
such
of.
a griefer tool. I mean, like I'm not saying that's the only people who would use it, but I'm just saying like they would love the shit out of that.
Yeah,
Just be
but
able to like flame strike someone for 80 and just like sprint the fuck out of there at like 550
But the
movement
thing
speed.
is, skeletal doesn't really give you speed, right?
It doesn't. Oh, I don't know the stats.
It's like skinny gives you 10 dex, and the others all give you 5 or none. It's more like you're giving up HP for int as opposed to gaining HP and giving up dex. But like definitely with Alvarin, just the Alvarin clades make up for that lack of dex a lot, right? Like you said, an obese Shivra still goes like fighter speeds.
Yeah,
Like
it's
Sir
420
Blade
on the
speeds.
Mortal data at least. I haven't actually made. I don't know. Sometimes Mortal data is not exactly correct, but it should be around 420, if not like 415. Obese, so that's still pretty OP.
I like the idea of them being squishy though. That creates a sense of vulnerability for power, and then that creates more counterplay.
Like yeah,
think
you're three
that's really
shotable, but
good.
so you can three shot people, but so
Well,
can they, right? Like,
It
but
it
then
would
this
be
makes it more
it's
about
scary because
placement.
what happens when you have like a super lightweight like Ogmir who's still in like fucking steel tongue steel armor, but now hitting you for 80s too. Like you gotta.
Well, now
Yep,
you're faster,
they're still
and you still hit hard. So how is an Ogmir going to catch you? Unless
Say
you
again,
miss
what?
position. Unless you miss position, an Ogmir's not going to catch you.
yeah. If you're like a skeletal Vila or something.
No, I'm saying if you are the mage, you're like instead of
Oh,
being an obese Ogmir, now you're a skinny Ogmir, like fat mage
Oh,
or
my bad.
skinny mage. You know what I mean? You're still hitting as hard as a fat mage Ogmir does now, but now you're fast and you could still be wearing steel and tongue steel like Tumor typically does, right? Like he wears the heavy
yeah,
armor
but
as the fat mage.
We don't have any mana.
So
Someone-
now you just have less HP, but now you have this movement speed on top of like him taking no damage.
What's the mana regen though if you're in Tungsteel?
None.
Must be close to
And that's the other thing I was saying, that they should leave Thigh up at obese, and getting fatter should give you Thigh, and getting skinnier should give you Ent. Which are also separated.
I don't like that. No.
I mean, I don't know. It's just right now you get just fatter, and you get more Thigh and more Ent, and you get skinnier, and you get a little bit of Dex, and then nothing else after that.
Doesn't it
Bump of
actually hurt your
Dex.
dex after a point?
Skeletal? No, a skeletal gives you 0 Dex. It doesn't affect your Dex. But the ones before it give you 5, 10, 5.
The one thing though is that like when we suggest a lot of these changes, like a lot of them have to come with other changes. It's sort of the
Yeah.
problem with more online balance is like when you change something, you have to adjust other things because like most things are build connected. Like what Evelyn said in the chat, like if you want to fix that problem that Putsim was talking about with like people in tongue steel on their fat mages, you set a strength cap to armor, which I don't think I think that should be in the game already. I don't think that's particularly bad.
I don't know.
No,
I feel like
I never liked Tumor's build. Let me just say that. I think it's always been.
There
dumb.
already
Like,
kind
he's
of is.
assuming the fight's only gonna last like 20 seconds or 30. You know, like that's
Yeah.
like 5 spells and you're done.
I
Like,
don't
what do you
I don't
do?
think that's a build to balance around, because it's not a common thing, and I don't think it'd become a common thing. And there is a strength cap on armor, basically. I mean, you cannot wear
Sorta.
you can't wear tongue steel on an Alvarin.
Well, then you
Like-
nerf like the Ogmir armor clade or something. The comments.
Yeah, the
it just
Ogmir
depends.
blade gives you it. That's like the only reason you can wear anything like that. But even with a
That's
0
true,
strength
actually.
Ogmir, like you're gonna get to like 10 weight without your clade with armor training. You're gonna be like 3 or 4 weight behind everybody else.
I'm curious. Just because we're kind of talking about heavy armors right now, and does anyone who played MO1 can they tell us like kind of like the stat comparison for Ogmium versus? Because someone told me it's like tongue steel values, but just lighter, or like
No,
where-
it's better. It was in MO1. It was better than tongue steel, and slightly heavier than steel. But I believe they've made steel lighter in this one,
They did.
and the way armors work is different.
so
I
we'll
mean,
see a
it's
different
similar.
Ogmium, you're saying basically.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they'll do Ogmium. But I mean, right now the way armor works in general is less material stat dependent than it was in the first game for heavy armor. So like that's why like bone tissue mercenary plate, people like it's not just completely shit because bone tissue shit, because mercenary plate as an armor gives its own bonuses, which in MO1 didn't really happen with heavy armor. It was very stat dependent, and then certain stats just ended up being higher because they had higher modifiers. And this one, there's flat bonuses that make it much better for certain stats. I mean, right now it seems like Tungsteel and Chronite, like Chronite's very close to Tungsteel defenses, so stuff seems a bit different too because of that.
But Chronite's pretty fucking light, right?
Yeah, Chronite's just lighter, which means it's just outright better than Tungsteel. Because I mean, before at least the difference in defense was pretty noticeable.
Chronate's
So
not like really armor though. Like made for armor. Isn't it usually used for weapons?
only because it's expensive, right?
Chronite armor was with the stam penalties and stuff was typically the best.
It's still going to be the best right now, right? Like it's the best armor you can make right now is full Chronite.
I mean,
because-
it's like really worth it.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't
not-
think any
not-
of the high-end armors are worth it.
not unless you have a lot of Chronite, right?
Yeah,
Definitely
like,
know.
maybe if your keeps getting siege, sure.
Yeah,
like, You
exactly.
get a ball out, right? But like, I think steel as the average is actually in a really good place.
Yeah, I think that's how it should be. MO1 destroyed their economy, and then everybody had Chronite and Tungsteel and stuff because they made it so easy to get.
I'm really under
Safely.
the impression that the game needs like some sort of like salvage skill for like low dura weapons and armor and shit. Like I get that you guys want like the sync in the game, but it really is shit when you have like all these like 1/4 left like durability on these weapons. It's like, do I just
I
have to delete
think-
this thing? Like,
I think it'd be cool if you could repair weapons by putting more mats into them.
I
Like,
just
it
don't
keeps-
get. I don't get why they lose effectiveness. Like, because at a certain point you have to chuck them, right? If you don't want to add repair, and if you don't want to like make people be able to salvage them, then just make them do full damage until they're broken.
yeah,
I
I like
actually
that.
agree
That
with
would
that.
be good.
Yeah, I'd
That
be
would
fine
a
with
good
that
change.
too. I feel like salvaging would be a bit silly because I don't like that. I like when stuff like you loot a weapon, either you use it till it breaks, or you delete it, right? Because you don't
But
want
why would
to
you use
give
it
it
till
away.
it breaks at this point?
No, yeah. Currently, it's not as good. I feel like salvaging just makes mats stay in the world a lot longer. I think repair would be cool. That instead of crafting another weapon, you can just use
Yeah,
the same mats
Like
to.
you're talking about something like rust, right? Like where you repair it but it doesn't go back to its full like durability.
Oh no, I mean like you could make it go back to its full durability, and you use the mats it would take to get there, and then you save on some mats or something.
Well, unless
but it
they
wouldn't-
added what Saruka said, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
I just delete.
I mean, I sort of like what Saruka suggested, just because like right now when you make a weapon, you're actually paying like half the materials you're paying just to sit in your bank because once it hits half, it's not as good. So I think like that would just help a lot because you're overspending right now when you create weapons.
I think they should lower the amount of backing you use when crafting armor. I think that would be a good change. I don't know why they changed it.
Yeah, why did they make it like that? I guess just to get rid of mats or something.
Yeah, but it's a silly one because it makes all the spider queens way less worth doing. Like when it's like 70 units of iron silk per set, killing a spider queen as a guild's a good thing to do. But now it's like, oh yeah, you get 2 sets maybe. So
Yeah, it's like the troll as well. Like, there's no reason for
Yeah.
you to ever wear iron for.
And
It's
I don't-
rough, man.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad that backing gives that you to use less backing. Definitely because I think they should certain non big mobs should have their butchery amount of carcass they drop lowered. I feel like stuff drops a lot of carcass when it probably
Maybe it was
shouldn't.
too low in MO1 because like you could have like 3,000 iron silk. And how many sets did you get with that? Like 100.
I don't know about 100. You got a lot though. 30, maybe a little bit more than that, like 35.
A shit ton.
Just dropping more like second best in slot sort of items when you're like killing bosses is good too. Like if the Niter Queen dropped a ton of silk with it as well, like then it's worth it for a guild to go, right? Because then you
Yeah,
can at
that'd be
least gear like your best players in Iron Silk, and then you can have like the
Well,
silk for like.
I
the
mean,
rest
it's
of your
already
guild.
spiders are already brain dead easy still. I don't
It's
know.
true.
They drop.
But like
silk
to
and-
get your group of 10 to go out there to do Niter Queen or whatever, whatever the standard amount is.
Yeah,
I'm
but
just-
then you don't have to go farm spiders at all. That's the problem, and then you have less people out doing that content.
I just think they should just lower it. So like the Iron Silk drop will be pretty good because you'll get like 8 sets, and that that's good
Yeah.
for no matter how many
if
people
it's
kill it.
if it's like an 8-man dungeon, I think they should up the resource drop to whatever to fill out like a full set of like those people.
For 8 people. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. I mean, 35 sets obviously was too much. 2 sets is obviously too little, I think.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
don't,
I
you
think
got-
it's currently like 2 sets, maybe less even. For like a troll or like a spider.
you don't
queen,
get 3k Iron Silk from killing a Spider Queen though, right? You get like 1.
Oh, you get way less.
Yeah, I don't know how much you get actually.
You get this like 240 per stack.
You get
and
like
it's
6 stacks of Spider
Yeah.
Queen carcass. It's
So you get
not
like
much.
1200 if you butcher at a table with max lures.
And
you're
people
not
were
doing that here.
soloing them in MO1. That's
Yeah.
not happening here.
That's what I'm saying. Like in MO1, it was a bit busted because you could solo everything in the game.
Were the
you
fights
knew
just
how
way
to.
easier, or was like pets more
Bosses
OP,
were
or-
big mobs.
So they weren't bosses. They were just.
It,
elites.
it wasn't
Okay.
like oh, it's in the ceiling. I mean, they had like the little eggs and stuff, but it was also like they weren't. They didn't make dungeons, the boss fight room, a distinct location thought out. It was just more like here's a room, and you can pull it out of the room a bit, or like get it on some rock. And there's also some little silly stuff.
And then
Like,
Death
you
Knights were stronger than bosses as well.
Yeah, and then there was pets that were just too strong, like MA and pets. You could solo if you had a character that had a pet, and you had a character that had MA.
Yeah, but didn't someone say
everything in the
they killed like the Mino King with like a Campodon or something?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know.
I heard that. I don't even remember what guild it was. I can't remember.
I
Someone
think
was
pets
talking
being
about
good in PvE is fine though. I just don't say I don't. You shouldn't be able to solo most things, or you shouldn't be able to solo bosses.
I saw
just
someone
outright.
bringing the Campodon to the Bandit Fortress recently too. I was like, who the fuck? Why would you even waste your time bringing a Campodon to go kill bandits? I don't know. I just thought that was like
Probably a
overkill.
mage. I mean,
no, it was a group. I saw like
Oh.
a bunch of people mounted. When I don't even know what guild it was because I didn't want to get close because we were transporting or something.
hilariously, I
that's-
think Campodons are one of the more fine balanced pets compared to like bears and
How much
Or
HP
dogs
do they
and
get?
stuff.
Don't think I heard like 1300. I don't know
yeah,
if
they
that
have a
was
lot,
accurate.
but they're not fast, and their attacks are blockable. So, it's not that bad compared.
I don't
to,
understand how you find that balance though.
I don't know. I mean, better. It's better. It's better than a bear, where
Oh,
like
sure.
it's
Yeah, it's
faster than
better.
you, and you cannot block it because half its attacks don't have animations when it's walking.
Yeah, but I mean, you guys complain about speed, but the speed doesn't matter if it never stamps out and you do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's true. That was the problem. It ended up being in MO1 all the time. It's like the pets would just keep chasing, so eventually they'd get you, but they couldn't. They couldn't really sticky back you most of the time.
Pendevius, that's not my quote. That's a Wicked quote. I would ask like a couple times in the MO2 Discord, like how to do Spider Queen or what do you guys do, and then Wicked would always just come in like randomly as fuck, just like have a brain. It's like, oh, sorry, dude, because I don't have a brain. Or I'd ask like how the aggro works. I can't remember what my question was. He did it like to me like 2 or 3 times now.
The aggro needs work too. It makes no sense.
Fucking like that's the thing I'm most opinionated about in this game. Like the fucking aggro is just bullshit.
It makes
Why-
no sense.
why
Send
do
the
they have to
mages in first?
Why do they have to reinvent the wheel of every fucking MMO that does AI? Like, just make
Yeah,
it like
but-
any other fucking game. I don't know.
Yeah, but as far as I know, the aggro's been way better with the Clade buffs. Like I haven't had many issues with. as far as,
Does
like,
it
the
even
Spider
work
Queen.
for you guys?
think
I've
it's
tried to use
broken.
Rock Solid multiple times to get aggro, and it hasn't worked.
Well,
So then they just made Rock Solid broken.
because
There's
it's
no
not
improvement
linear.
cooldown.
It's not like you think you have to pop it like at the beginning of the fight. You still have to do all the old tricks of like mages first and everything, and it's better. It's not like perfect.
I feel like
okay.
the whole mages first thing is just silly, and it should be a little more clear. Like it's definitely not. Imagine being a new group and you go to do like minnows or something, and you send your fighters in, and then a minnow just comes and starts 60ing your mages or whatever
Did you
because
guys
it
see
just runs
that?
through your group.
It just
Well-
makes PVE look awkward as well.
Yeah, it's
Because
just funky.
the mob runs all over the place trying to find the last guy that walks in.
Well, like if you're a new group, you're not clearing any dungeon. Let's be honest. Even like the necromancy boss is gonna be hard as fuck for a new group. Like,
Yeah, but it should.
I don't know if
it
you
should
guys.
be-
I don't
it
know if you
should
guys
be-
saw that artisans group that went to like Seder Temple and he like, posted his like 16-minute video with like no audio, and it was like they all ran the room and there was like a million fucking orbs in the room by the end of the boss fight, and like nobody was targeting orbs. Like sometimes it's like have a brain, but like nobody was focusing these orbs that have clear health pools or anything, and they're all like lasering the boss or whatever the fuck it does, you know. It's
I
just,
don't
like,
mind-
Sometimes you just gotta kill the ads, man.
I don't mind the bosses themselves having like some complicated AI that you have to understand, but why does a satyr aggro the mages if the mages goes in last. Like it's just a stupid mob. Just do it like any other game.
That or like you have a mob on you and then you turn and hit it, so it goes on the people who are chasing you or whatever. That kind of stuff's
Yeah.
also pretty silly.
Yeah. I mean, the boss can be complicated, but just the regular mobs just make them easy to do. It's not like I don't understand why it has to be that way. It is. I mean, you saw that Pizza guy stream, right? When he was in the Satyr dungeon, that little clip where he's like raging at Henrik.
Wait,
Yeah.
what happened?
Well, he was doing the Satyr dungeon, but of course he was like half grey bard and he didn't wear any gear and everything. But that's besides the point. But he went in like he wasn't doing anything. He just stood there, and the mob still aggroes him, you know, and hits him because he's like somehow low health. The Satyr, which is kind of a cool idea that the AI knows, okay, that guy's low health, I can one hit him. But on the other hand, that's just stupid to give like
That's
low
probably
level
why.
mobs.
That's probably not even why he got aggro. If I'm just being honest with you,
Yeah,
probably some
I
other
don't think that's
reason.
intended.
Yeah.
I
So
just
yeah,
feel-
everybody.
That's the thing though. Like we can always, we're only guessing. Like even if we think we know and it 100% works for this reason, it might not even be that reason that the AI is targeting this person every time, right? Like we'll just never know, and that's kind of like the frustration, right? Because we can't know unless we're
It's
writing the
pretty
code
consistent.
or the guild.
It's pretty obvious that it goes to the last person in raid.
Yeah,
But it
like,
doesn't
usually.
always.
But it's the
does
last
most
person
of
that
the
it's.
time.
I think mobs have like a vision because I think it's the last person that it sees. So you might be coming in last, but it might not see you last, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I get out of it. Not sure though.
All I know, January 8th, best of the beta tournament, 7 p.m. GMT.
Plug.
Why GMT?
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to end the podcast like in 20 minutes. I gotta end it a little bit early because I'm doing something. Just as an FYI.
You want to talk about rep?
Talk about rep.
Standing
What
tab.
do you want to say about rep?
Well, actually, I don't have a lot to say about it because I haven't messed with the parcels too much, but I know everybody hates it. Well, what I have to say about rep is just the whole system just kind of sucks. Like,
Really?
you don't get any sense of being in a faction or like, you murder a Kurite and you get reported in Tindremic lands. It's just weird.
I think the system itself is a good system. There's just some problems with it. Like I think overall, it's a cool idea that works really well for single character compared to the first game.
Do you have any sort of like meaning to the faction at all right now? Do you feel
I
that?
do agree with technique though. I mean, if you live in, like for me, I live in Vada, and well, I farmed a lot of rep before the nerf, so don't worry about it. But before, I used to only farm around PK around Meduli and Tindrin because I didn't want to lose my Kurite rep. But if you killed someone and he home priest, you lost Kurite rep, and that was always felt
Yeah,
kind of
that
silly to
they
me.
need to change that. But I feel like that's a pretty easy fix. They just make it so you can't murder count except for at the nearest
It
priest.
is an easy
And it's
fix,
the
but I
nearest
literally
priest.
PM'd Henrik about it, and I was like, "This home priest is stupid."
I talked
8
to
months ago, you know.
Seb mentioned it a couple days ago that he liked the idea of like it should just be a check that like if your home priest isn't the nearest priest, when you home priest you can't murder count, and then bam.
Yeah.
That just fixes that.
Yeah, and also, I don't mind the new rep changes that much or being harder to farm because I mean, just don't fucking grave guards on PvP, right? But
It's good that you have
You
to be
lose it in
selective,
fights,
but I
though.
think right now you're way too like. It's either you go red or you like barely PvP, unless you
Like,
farmed a ton of rep
you
before.
wipe
Which I think that's where the system is bad because then it either creates murder hobos or people that just don't get in conflict,
yeah,
and that's a big
Yeah.
part of the game is conflict, right?
but
So
I think they kind of also did it to force war decks because they want people to war deck each other. They don't want like
no
people
one's
just.
gonna war deck when it's consensual. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's
horrible
true.
too.
That's true. But I think part of the reasoning was that they wanted the people to war deck each other so that people don't just slaughter everyone everywhere.
CTX is taking all war decks, by the way. Feel free. Um, you know, let's do that. But like no one accepts war decks.
Because
well, I
people don't
mean,
want.
why would you? Especially because the
Yeah.
people who you want to war deck are the big guilds, right? And they'll never accept
Yeah,
'cause
no,
they're just gonna get screwed over.
they're just
right?
gonna their noobs are just gonna die in town for all this stuff all the time,
Yeah,
right?
You're just gonna go into the town they live, wipe them, leave, come back in like 3 hours.
No, come back in 10 minutes because that's when they're all trying to recover after they think you're gone, and then bam, right? War deck PvPs. It's not good for guilds, to be honest. Like,
Was that a thing
Wouldn't
in
it be
MMO?
just cool if you could war deck and it's just non-flag like PvP outside in the world?
I just
But I
don't
feel
get
like that-
why.
Less outside of towns.
I feel like that would be silly too, just because then it's just didn't. I mean, I don't know.
I don't get why a war deck makes you be able to kill people in town. It should just be the system that a war deck makes you lose no rep. Doesn't that fix it a little?
And then I think a lot of people do it, right?
Yeah, because now the only problem is you don't want to get griefed at bank, right? That's the only reason people don't war deck.
I think if you build a keep, you should be war deckable.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like the war decks in town are a good thing for the game. It's just not good. I mean, it's just not good right now, right? Like, it's not good with no limit. Forced war deck would be bad right now for sure. There needs to be a limit on forced war deck. But once there is like, you know, like keeps and stuff actually being good, I feel like a forced war deck is really good because the game shouldn't be super safe.
Yeah, once you can build like the crafting stations, have the vendors and stuff, like once that content is available to you, I think keep owners should get force sorted.
Also, it's like, I don't know if you guys have done war decks or not, but fighting inside towns is really fun, and it's a fun dynamic in PvP. It was like that in the first game, and it's like that in this one from the war
Yeah,
deck
I
that I've
mean,
done.
war
It's
deck
a really
PvP
fun.
in Tindrum and MO1, that shit was awesome. It's not all just griefing, like, oh, I'm gonna.
It's
see these
just
noobs
bad
and-
for, like, you know, like, I'm trying to think, it was like La France. A lot of them are new, right? And like that, it just, you know, forced war deck on their guild would just kill their guild, right? Or probably, I don't know about AC. You got a bunch of new guys too, right? If it's like
it
a
would kill
guild
my
with newer people, it's really bad for them.
I agree with that.
And in MO1,
I mean,
it was really
people will
bad
make
for that
sub guilds
reason.
though for their new players and shit. But
Yeah.
I mean, what can you do, right?
Like in MO1, it was really bad for that reason because some, like, you know, some vet war decks a 10-man noob guild, and they can't do anything about, you know, the hybrid running around killing their guys and escaping over and over again, and it just makes the whole game very unfun. But I think it's good for big guilds once it's like, you know, if they want to have the big guild stuff, they have the big guild risk, right?
Well, in the end, I'm not too worried about like war decks and rep system. I'm pretty sure they'll change. There's no way this is what's intended or how it's gonna stay in game.
I
The
just don't
problem
get
is
why
SV
they.
doesn't realize what's broken because they don't really play. Like, you have to tell them.
I honestly
But-
think what part of the rep change was because Henry played on some secret alt and got ganked by miscreants in Meduli Graveyard. I'm like fucking 99% certain.
Well, why I don't understand why they took out Rizars when all we have is
Yeah.
parcels.
That's what I'm saying. There needs to be more ways to get rep. I even think it'd be good if you can buy rep with gold and just get gold out of the game, make it expensive. No
I
one
do
will really
kinda-
do it
That
as
would
the
be a
main
good
way.
gold sink.
Yeah, exactly. Like if some fucking guy wants to spend 500 gold to get, you know,
I think what they
10
want.
rep or something.
I
What
think
they
that would
want-
be a better idea for like you clear to go out of negative.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
That's what-
not to go into
That's
positive.
what I mean. I mean, you pay
Oh,
off
yeah.
to get back up, but not. You shouldn't buy rep in. Like, you shouldn't be able to buy 100 rep.
How do you guys feel that like you can be a Thursar and you're just fucked over? Like you're pretty much forced to be red, and they don't plan on changing it. Like everything the devs have said is they're committed for them to be
Because
like,
it won't
pretty
really
much
matter once we
outcast.
have towns. But
maybe
we
not
don't
for
have towns in
you, but the
TC.
guy that picks, you know, Thursar on launch that wants to live in like Bhakti and has a fight because a certain guild's ganked them. Like it's
Yeah,
a
no,
lot of work to like manage that. And I think that's the biggest problem is they shouldn't balance the lore like that. Like I think it takes away from the gameplay a lot. But like there's
Yeah,
no
it's
way
not-
I'm playing Thursar with this rep system or standing.
Yeah, I mean, I only play it as an alt. Like, if I have an alt, it can be a Thursar, because then I'll just, you know, have it be red. But being full on red is very detrimental if you can't do anything about it. Because in the
They,
first game, it wasn't a problem because you could still do trade because you had a blue character, right? You can't do any of that on a red. How
They
it
should
is
just
part
have
of
like
that thing.
NPCs outside the town with no guards that you can like turn in like Rhizar heads or something. Rep.
yeah,
I
I
don't-
mean, they don't
That
even
should
have a
be.
Kure red town.
I don't-
like. That's a
Yeah.
big missed opportunity.
I will
think.
say, I don't-
There is though. I mean, if you Kurite Red Town, no, but you can get Kurite standing by doing red parcels to jungle town.
Sure, but
I
like,
don't. I don't like. I don't think you should be able to turn in heads for rep, to be honest,
I like it.
because then you could sell rep. You know,
So.
like I need to buy 50 Rhizar heads off somebody.
Oh, true. Then
That's-
that's no different than just buying.
Yeah, that's the same
But
fucking
except,
thing
yeah,
I just mentioned.
yeah,
What
but
are
the
you talking
gold
about?
doesn't leave the game. You know.
It
Well,
would
why
just it would just make red players enjoy being red because you can gang the people farming the heads.
That's true.
That's
yeah,
more
and you
PvP.
can pretty
good
much just gank for gold and then just buy the heads off the market if people sell it.
Or just gang the
See?
people doing the heads, right? I mean, it's,
Yeah, like
Wait, are
either
you guys
way, like,
complaining or agreeing?
I don't
I
know
I think
now.
it's then there's no balance. I think
I'm
it's
just-
because you're just gonna be able to buy it. It's
Yeah,
not
that's what I'm
gonna be
saying. I don't like
Then
that. Play,
reputation isn't
I don't-
even up. There's no point to.
I don't
rep
like the
system
idea
then.
of some other of players being able to sell rep to other players. Is my problem with the heads, right? I do like the idea of, oh yeah, you gank him for his heads or whatever, but I don't like the idea of like, yeah, let me put 10 Rhizar heads on the Fab Broker so someone can get some rep.
I think here's how they should
How
do
is
it.
that different than killing Rhizars? I don't understand your logic.
Because you have to go do it to kill the Rhizars, right?
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah,
be
but
at
you-
the Rhizars killing them. You don't have to like go farm some other thing or mine Granum and sell steel and then buy rep, right? Or like do whatever other thing to get rep. It makes it a specific rep hotspot if you have to go kill
Yeah,
Rhizars.
exactly, because if you're a PK, you enjoy killing people, and in order to go back out of red, you have to kill people. I mean, there's no punishment in that.
Yeah,
Not
then you
really.
might as well just not have a rep system, right?
Yeah.
I also like, I don't know. I don't like the idea of someone putting up, here, want to sell 50 rep in Meduli. Like I think that's a little bit.
I don't understand your guys' logic though, because they're not killing people inside the town. They're still doing it outside the town. So this is only generating more PvP rather than having downtime for your PvP to go farm rep.
But
So I don't
the
understand why you
standing
guys are complaining.
system is supposed to be like you're not supposed to be a murder hobo if you're blue, right?
Yeah, but not
So, like-
everyone's going to be able to afford to buy rep. That's only going to be for some people, right?
I mean, maybe.
And you're still going to have the same amount of people farming Rhizars because you still have to get the heads to sell them. So I don't
like the
understand
idea
why
that
the
you-
PvPers are complaining that there's going to be more people with more uptime outside town PvPing. What? So you want less PvP now? I'm so confused.
No. I want PvP. I don't know. I just feel like I shouldn't be able to just stay blue and murder anyone I want. Like I
Yeah.
just go murder anyone.
It doesn't matter if they're blue or not because
I
the
like-
vendor.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
like that. I like killing. I like the idea of killing them and having to actually go do something for the rep, and just make there be a bunch of different options for that.
But they will
parcels
have to
and
still go
killing
just. They have to pay for the fucking heads. What do you thought? The gold doesn't just come out of nowhere. They still have to farm
Yeah, but my point is like
or win the PvP
dude,
for
gold-
that matter.
other more efficient thing.
I,
It
don't know.
makes
I
the
just find it
gold in
odd the
general look
PvPers don't want more PvP uptime. I find that very weird. But sure.
I guess Butson is right because the people farming the heads will be other PKers, so PKers will be fighting
Yeah,
PKers.
you'll still have people at the Rhizar camps because their heads still come from somewhere. You'll still have the PvPers who still need to make gold somehow to pay for the heads. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand your
I mean,
logic.
it'd definitely be better than what they currently have going on.
Yeah, that's true. The current system is garbage.
What do you guys
Yeah.
think of this? Instead of PVE, I know there's gonna be easy ways to exploit this, but
The
You know,
bounty stuff doesn't
the
work.
rep vendor, knows how many murder counts somebody's got. If you kill that player, you gain rep. Obviously, the
there's been-
PvPers are just going to kill each other. But
Yeah,
There's been multiple talks in like the MO Discord. It's impossible to balance that out. Like,
that's the
yeah,
problem. But it'd be way cooler.
every guild would just have their 500 murder count buddy at the
Yeah.
priest.
Yeah, that's the problem.
in the end, all I want them to be able to
Unless
do.
they mandate stat loss. I don't know.
That's the problem I see with the whole bounty hunting system. I don't know how bounty hunting is. Oh, fuck. either.
Yeah,
if you
no,
put
that's the
stat
problem with it
loss,
every
you know,
game.
your buddy's not gonna want to get killed by you.
Yeah, but if you put stat loss, it's just gonna feel really bad in a
gonna
one
be shit, yeah.
character game.
Yeah, unless the stat loss is extremely bad though. If it's like 100 gold bounty or something. Fuck, who
Yeah, but
cares?
like, but Poopson, what if you are negative for some reason or have murder counts or whatever, and you get stat loss, you're out until you spend 30 minutes fixing your character. and it's just not a good. I don't know. I don't feel like it's not a good gameplay loop.
30 minutes. Well, it depends on the gold, obviously. If it's only like 5 gold, then yeah, it's worth. But if it's like 100 gold, that's better than most farming methods.
Oh, you mean abusing it?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm talking about stat loss. The general mechanic is not good.
Oh no, I thought we were talking about bounty hunting. Not being,
yeah,
or
no,
being
bounty
abused.
hunter is bounty hunting is just not going to work. It just doesn't work because
It only works right if you take the gold from the other player, pretty much. But like, how does that even work?
Oh, definitely.
Someone
it's horrible
reaches into
as a
your
source
bank.
of gold.
100
Yeah,
gold,
like you would
there
have to remove it from their bank. But like, what if they don't have
Nah,
gold?
that would
like,
be
I don't
fucking
know.
trash.
It just
That'd be,
I mean, I can't wait. I
It's
can't
too
wait to get
flawed.
banished, spammed, and my bank drained.
Evelyn just robbed your bank.
Yeah. Team Rocket just rolled up on me, banished me, and now they've kept me at a priest for 5 hours, draining my banks.
Either way, they gotta find a fix for graveyard PvP though, because that's like super detrimental to the game.
Oh yeah, I mean, Force Vortex would be all shit. For that
Yeah.
combo.
I don't
but-
think it needs limits. You need to have some sort of guild
Do we
tiers
think-
or something.
For launch, they should add lictors back to graveyards.
I feel like graveyard should be like Eve has high sec, low sec, and null sec, right? Like why aren't there used to be roaming cards? Why are they gone? Like I remember around Tindrim there being like this guard patrol, and if you was PKing around Tindrim and you weren't paying attention, like the cards would suddenly attack you. Back before
Yeah, we
they
need no
added,
security zones, dungeons, middle of the map, shit like that.
like I wouldn't mind like having some not a lictor but a regular guard patrol graveyard or whatever. And it's not something that insta kills you, but you can somewhat defend against you, but you also aren't
Lose
free to
sta-
kill
you lose-
everyone.
Yeah, you lose standing just being seen. Oh fuck.
Yeah, just something that like provides a little security out of towns, and then when you go farther out, it's just zero security.
I
I
still
don't know.
think the middle of the map design is horrible. Imagine if there was a red town in the middle of like Sausage Lake. Do you know how many people would have just like gear sets there? Like
There's
waiting
north.
for PvP?
There's one right north of it.
It's not though, not really. You have to like go around mountains and shit through thick ass forest. I mean, like right in the middle of Sausage Lake, like there was like 3 land bridges on each like side that you could get to it. Even or just take the fucking lake out. Who gives a fuck about the stupid fucking lake? And just put like a fucking red town there, or like a dungeon, like a OPS dungeon. You know what I mean?
It'd be
Like,
cool if there was like an actual PVE town. Like the town
PvE?
was built. Yeah, like it's a huge town. But it has like mobs and stuff everywhere. It's like designed for you to farm it, and it's red. That'd be pretty cool.
what?
It's a,
Talking about like
it's a
Springbox
town.
in the middle of GK, or what are you talking about?
No. Like it's an actual town, but like this,
Okay.
it's not like vendors and stuff. Like you can have a bank, and there's like Rysars or something there that you can.
Well, I think
farm, and it's
Rysar should be
red.
in GK. Personally,
I mean,
like there should be
yeah,
like roaming Rysars in the middle of GK. Personally,
That could work.
Why?
it shouldn't be as safe as it is.
It's not safe though. It's only safe because no one's there.
Yeah, true. Actually,
But
It's
why aren't
players that
Rysars
just come in.
there? Why are
No, they're-
Rysars camping out in the middle of nowhere? But they literally conquered and destroyed GK. You would think they would be posted up there. Isn't there fucking Rysar tents in GK with vendors at them instead of Rysars?
But isn't that like planned to be added? Like haven't they talked about like risers pushing forward? So maybe come release that will
Because
kind
they
of
got dunked by us.
I don't know.
Well, no, they got dunked by the Ogmirs. So Horizon did it.
Yeah, I don't know if red towns need a roaming mobs in them. I think
Well, just do what they do with the bandits.
Well, they don't
right?
have to be
Just
a lot of them, just a couple or a few. You
Just
know what I
have
mean?
the
If you're not paying
like
attention.
the Rysars on the road, like what they do with the bandits now. They just have like a random bandit like on the road.
There are
Yeah,
random Rysars, but not like in
Oh, really?
yeah. There's random Rysars. I've seen
I
it.
didn't know that.
I don't
It's
know.
like only in the
A
camps.
few at least that I know of.
Speaking of red towns, though, Kranesh needs a furnace and an attractor. I don't know why they make.
Did
Why
wait,
it would
right-
be worse?
Didn't you say that recently, Horizon? You need like Grenache needs a greater crusher.
Yeah, it needs
That would be
something, dude.
great.
Why should it be worth mining in less safe? Like it's literally safer to mine some Granum rocks above Fabrinum and bring them into Granum.
I don't
into
disagree.
Fabrinum.
I think Grenache is like it has the potential to be such a like
I said put
cool
the
looking
cheat there.
town. Isn't it still fucked on optimization too?
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
To be fair, if you live in GK, every town you go to after GK is just fucking garbage for FPS.
Oh yeah, Evelyn's abused Riser AI. Dude, I love pulling up on Rhizar camps with people at them because all you have to do is you just shoot you shoot more Rhizars with your bow and then run over to the guy that you're trying to kill and all the Rhizars switch to him. Pretty fucking great.
Yeah.
Some good aggro system.
Yeah,
right
it's a
there.
good. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about, dude.
That's a-
Good AI.
That's some
Next
PvE
level.
PvP
Next
gameplay.
next generation, yeah.
All right, we're gonna be wrapping up here in like 5 minutes. Does anyone else have anything they want to talk about for sure before
Best
we?
of the beta, January 8th, 7 p.m. GMT.
Didn't even finish my sentence. Already plugging. Nice. I love it.
You
So,
won one.
so what's gonna be different about this tournament than past tournaments?
Okay, let's see. 1, no Thursar healing clade or any healing except for
Okay.
passive regen because you can't really police passive regen. 2, Malarium Guard 4 max, Steel Weapons max. Malite, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna count as better than Steel because it is.
Lighter. Yeah.
It's just better than Steel. No potions. If a duel takes too long, we're gonna wait it out because I'm not gonna have a pit of people choose the winner.
Are you talking about the circle?
Yeah, like none of that stuff. It's just gonna be a duel about skill, and then you get to be the best of the beta.
So is
You
this
know?
a 1v1 tournament only or what?
Yeah, I was thinking if I should have done it. I wasn't really wanting to do a tournament before the end of the beta, before persistence, but that pit thing made me decide I needed to do it. There needs to be at least one fucking skill
Yeah, but
based
this-
one.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have any interest in 1v1. Obviously, I'm terrible, so I feel like you're gonna exclude a lot of people that don't want to just do 1v1s.
I mean, I could do 5v5s or 3v3s. I keep asking which would be better, and no one ever answers.
Yeah, because no one ever wants to commit because they're pussies.
But when you
Like-
make like a 5v5 tournament, like how many people show up?
Yeah,
Not many.
realistically, you would have to do like 3v3
Yeah, that's what I was
because
thinking.
most guilds probably came and get 5 solid people together or whatever.
Also, I just figured it'd take a lot longer to have 3v3s as well. But
Why?
because of the whole separate section of the tournament I have to do. I don't know. I can do 3v3s. If people want 3v3s, I'll do 3v3s. It'd be just the same restrictions except for, I'll let you have healing.
So you don't know where it's gonna be?
I'm somewhere in the Fab Cran area, I assume, because it's kind of centralish.
But did you get permission from Miscreants if you're gonna do it in Cran area?
Oh yeah, I need Miscreants' permission. Oh no. They're allowed to come. They can come compete. Anybody's allowed. Everybody's allowed unless, you fucking do some shit there, and then I'll tell you you're not allowed anymore. But
Not making Sneeze say 3. Wait, say 3? I don't get it.
3?
I don't
Yeah,
get it.
I can do TH. Now if it was like stop making Sneeze say Slim Shady sipping soda, it'd be a problem. But
Do I look like some shady with this beanie?
Not at all.
I don't know.
Before we go, can I pitch the jungle?
Yeah,
Can you
come
what?
to the jungle.
Jungle is awesome, man. If you don't want to bother with guard zone PvP, and if you want to have actual PvP and like fight bigger groups, you have to come to the jungle. It's awesome here.
Yeah, I didn't really like your video though. It was just
Oh,
like a
good.
1v1.
Yeah, but that was just to show that it's easy to run against bigger groups.
Yeah,
You
but I
keep
wouldn't call that
dodging,
small
Mr.
scale
Good.
PvP.
Excuse me?
I wouldn't call that small scale PvP.
Not really.
Do you run into
That's true.
people with terror birds all the time?
They come out of the jungle often. Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
keep
I have-
hearing like wicked flex about his terror birds in jungle camp.
Because
don't know
I
if I've ever
haven't
seen it.
had a problem kiting foot groups. It's only ever pets that are a problem when you're trying to just run from people trying to zerg you. Pets and mounted are the only problem there. Most people don't manage to stand well, so you can just kind of kite people forever.
Either way, more people need to come to the jungle.
Technique, any final words, my friend?
No.
I have a shout out for Techniques Guild since Techniques. Whoever made the character Leomund, delete your character. Thanks.
Oh, why you hurting Leo?
What?
Why you hurting Leo?
I'm not. Someone took his name apparently.
Oh, really?
What he told me.
Yeah, that's a bad person.
Horizon, any last words?
I'm good.
He hasn't even mentioned McDonald's.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, come to McDonald's Faberdome. It's like closed 99% of the time.
Day, you want to let me host my tournament in McDonald's?
I mean, you probably could. You should ask Diff.
I should ask Diff. I might do that. That'd be convenient.
He'll probably be cool with it.
I think we have a house. CTX has a stronghold. It's just in the middle of nowhere for some reason.
Where is it?
Just by like cave camp. It's just in the middle of
see.
nowhere. Yeah, come spend 7 hours sieging at everybody. It'll be fun gameplay for you guys. It's really important. They're very useful right now, right?
Oh wait, we didn't hear Saruka's story. I got kicked out of Kodo.
Oh, right. Well, it started like this. Like I was playing alone for a couple of weeks because Satan and Aaron weren't playing much because they had stuff to do, and Roy wasn't on, and Keldon wasn't really on. So I was looking for an EU group, right? So I settled on Kodo because they have quite a lot of EU players. And I must say, I was actually quite amazed how good that guild runs. They do a lot of stuff. It's quite fun to be there. But like from the moment I got in there, like you kind of got the feeling I wasn't welcome because I said to Coutura that I was going to be temporary, right? I was going to like leave on release.
Mhm.
So some people like made comments about that. And I was also playing mostly alone in the jungle because I mean, who wants to sit in a Discord with 20 fucking people all the time? Like what? And like usual, I was sitting in the jungle and a group of Kodo passes, and I want to say hi. Of course, I'm on a shitty jungle and they're on desert, so they're faster than me. And I shoot an arrow at this guy called CDD something. I don't know. I never seen the guy online. I don't know who he is, but apparently he's like the third highest ranking member in Kodo. And he starts going off on me. Then I'm on Discord, and then I nearly killed this horse, but I shot like one fucking arrow. Like what? So then, of course, I didn't know this guy. I thought it was just some random trying to like cause shit. So I start laying into him, like, "Why are you being so hard? Don't be a dick. This and that." And that's how I got kicked. That's basically the story. I shot an arrow at a guy. I didn't know who he was. He didn't like my
Oh.
tone, and I got kicked.
Did Arrow change to Destiny?
Yeah, it did. But it's actually a good guild, man. I mean, no shit to Kodo. They run their guild perfectly. They introduce newbies to the game. They do events constantly. Really, it was actually quite fun to be in. It's just, I mean, I don't know. It's just very strict, I guess. I don't know.
Alliances are for losers. Am I right, Pootson?
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck lists, man. Having to PvP with like a Discord list on your second monitor to check if you can kill them or not is kind of shit.
Yeah, TC Team Rocket.
It was like in the jungle. Every time I see someone,
Oh, yeah,
I have
there
to
are
like
no
get.
alliance. I forgot.
Your little alliance babies down there.
I don't understand how people play that way. Like you see someone in the jungle, you have to get tags, then you have to check the list. Okay, I can kill this guy. Like it's fucking retarded.
You know what's funny?
Yeah,
Is
it sucks a lot.
like everything I know about Technique, I'm pretty sure he's like a murder hobo.
Oh, I'm a nice guy.
He doesn't play the game.
Dude, I'm pretty
Dude.
sure like just everything I know about. I feel like if he'd just be like murdering everybody. Maybe not like noobs or like guildeds, but everybody else he just.
No, my first fat mage, I got like 1,000 murder counts, and then I played blue ever since then.
What, in MO1 or MO2?
Well, since MO1, yeah.
So yeah, the highest I've gotten to is 473, and then I deleted the character. Remade
All right, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here, boys. I appreciate you guys coming out. Yeah, you guys can go ahead and drop calls, say goodbye, whatever you want to do.
Sneeze
I'm gonna
out.
Go ahead and there you go.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Thanks.
See you in
boys.
game.
Appreciate you. Thank you guys for coming.
Ranzu 2021 AC for life.
Oh my god, dude, that was perfect. All right, let's see. I'll just face. All right, thank you guys for coming out. I had fun. I think these guys were all like PvPers, so we kind of had people with like actual interest, similar interests for once. But yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go ahead and upload this to YouTube today, hopefully. I'm gonna go do like this guild tournament thing we're gonna have like in house. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I appreciate you guys coming out. Let's go ahead and raid somebody real quick. Let's see who we can raid. Got my boy Ice Prime. The only person I recognize. So we'll raid Ice Prime. I try and mix it up, but if I only know one of the All right, boys. Thank you guys for having me. Good luck. Be nice to Ice Prime. Have a good one, boys.